Mother missed you too. Let me see, have you lost weight? Catherine Morgan looked at her beloved daughter. You've suffered. Evelyn shook her head. Not at all. Mother, you've lost weight since I last saw you. With you in the palace for so long, I haven't been able to sleep or eat well. Hearing that I could see you, I was overjoyed and got up early to prepare. Evan handed Evelyn a package. Here, Mother made these pastries herself. Evelyn accepted it with both hands, deeply moved. I was afraid you wouldn't be used to the palace food, so I made extra. Catherine Morgan said affectionately, I also saved some for Diana Spring and Clara Moon. They're doing well in the palace, Mother. Please don't worry. Evelyn reassured her. The Crown Prince's selection is in a few days. Are you sure you can handle it? Evan Morgan lowered his voice. I heard they've dismissed many candidates. Don't worry, third brother, I can handle it. I've been in the palace for a while, befriended the sixth princess, gained a good sister, and even saved a palace maid. Didn't I tell you to be humble? Why are you boasting? Catherine Morgan chided. Evelyn stuck out her tongue and made a face. Mother, you know my personality. I can't stand seeing the strong bully the weak. Not helping isn't in my nature. I just can't help it. Catherine Morgan embraced her daughter. I don't care how you manage in the palace, as long as you're safe and sound, I'm content. Mother. Evelyn said tenderly. Evan Morgan looked at the two. Evelyn, I may not have many other skills, but I know quite a few people in the palace. Do you need me to put in a good word for you? Third brother, what do you take me for? Evelyn said, displeased. Although I'm a woman, I should still make my own decisions. Evan Morgan laughed. All right, I was just testing you. Catherine Morgan glared at her son. Why haven't you grown up? You're already grown, yet all you do is wield swords. You refuse to find a wife and settle down. Evelyn teased. Third brother, quickly find a sister-in-law. The princesses in the palace aren't bad. Evan Morgan was startled. Don't gang up on me. Mother, we're here to visit Evelyn, why are you turning on me? It's all the same. You're both my precious children. Hayes. Catherine Morgan sighed, then said, if it weren't for Evelyn's strange illness, she would have been married with children long ago, and wouldn't have to enter the palace for this selection. Evan Morgan glanced at his sister and said to their mother, Mother, you worry too much. My sister has her own destiny. No one's to blame. Besides, I think the Crown Prince is a sentimental person. If he truly values my sister, he won't treat her badly. I don't want the Crown Prince to value me. Evelyn stated, I'd rather marry a beggar than the Crown Prince. Evan Morgan said to his sister, I still believe what the royal astrologer said. He said the Crown Princess is related to fragrance. You carry a fragrance, doesn't that fulfill the prophecy? What if it's someone whose name contains the character for fragrance? Evelyn countered. There are many women with fragrance in their names. Not everyone is qualified to be Crown Princess. But you're different. You carry a fragrance. Even searching the entire Golden Willow Kingdom, you probably won't find another. Actually, I've thought about that too. Catherine Morgan finally spoke, but because of Evelyn's illness, we don't know if the prophecy is auspicious or ominous. Nothing in life is perfect. I've come to terms with that. Evelyn said calmly. All right, let's change the subject, lest we add to our worries. Evan Morgan said, the palace hasn't been peaceful lately. Even the Crown Prince was assassinated. Evelyn, you must be careful in the palace. A few hours ago, guards came to search. This is the Imperial Palace, who would be so bold as to assassinate the Crown Prince that night? Evelyn asked. I don't know about that, Evan Morgan said. My third brother leading troops in battle is no problem, but investigating and solving cases is truly not my forte. How are the Crown Prince's martial arts skills? Evelyn inquired. Evan Morgan replied, much higher. than mine. The Crown Prince's martial arts are increasingly refined, his azure dragon sword makes any enemy tremble with fear. How dangerous! Last night, he must have shown mercy, otherwise, I fear I would have been a goner. Evelyn thought to herself. Chapter 28, The Princess of the Snow Pearl Kingdom reunited with her kin. Evelyn Morgan's spirits were high. Since she needn't attend the refined elegance hall, she rested in bed. She was drifting off when Princess Crystal Carter arrived. Sister, does your wound still pain you? Crystal Carter inquired upon entering, concern etched on her face. Evelyn sat up. It's all right now. Just a bit tired. Last night's exertion, coupled with this morning's injury, had left her weary. Yesterday, His Majesty was attacked. The entire palace is searching for the assassin. Guards came to question me, but I explained everything. Did they trouble you? Evelyn shook her head. No, once everything was clear, there was no issue. Sister Evelyn, you are truly brave. If Winter White had clawed me, I would have cried and stayed in bed for 3 days and nights, Crystal Carter said sincerely. A princess wouldn't be so frail, Evelyn replied. Crystal Carter suddenly said, Sister, have you heard? A princess from the Snow Pearl Kingdom has arrived. A princess from the Snow Pearl Kingdom? Ah, I recall Margaret Chen mentioning it. What about her? What about her? Do you welcome her presence? Crystal Carter retorted. She is a princess. Though the Snow Pearl Kingdom is not as powerful as the Golden Willow Kingdom, she is still a noble princess, and reportedly quite beautiful. What if His Majesty favors her? What will you do, Sister Evelyn? So that's what worries you. Evelyn chuckled. Whom the Crown Prince favors is his prerogative. We cannot interfere. No. I must speak with His Majesty and have you instated as Crown Princess. Let that Snow Pearl Kingdom princess be. Crystal Carter exclaimed, agitated. Evelyn smiled at Crystal Carter's childish reaction. I appreciate your concern, but even as his sister, such matters of the heart are best left to the Crown Prince's own judgment. Crystal Carter pondered for a moment. True. His Majesty is a shrewd man. He wouldn't choose a fool for a Crown Princess. Evelyn laughed again. Why speak of him so? Aren't you afraid I'll tell? I'm not afraid. His Majesty cares for me deeply. He may seem cold, but it's a facade he must maintain. Evelyn sighed. Is it as they say, a high place is no shelter from the wind? Perhaps. We grew up in the palace, surrounded by silks and servants, yet something always felt lacking. Sometimes I think I'd rather be a free bird. Evelyn looked at the youthful princess. Do you think being Crown Princess would bring happiness? That's different. The Crown Princess comes from outside the palace, with cherished memories of her youth. And His Majesty is not a bad man. If he truly cared for a woman, she would be happy. But he says he has no true feelings. No true feelings? Evelyn's heart trembled. Could one entrust their life to a man devoid of true feelings? The thought of being Crown Princess suddenly seemed tragic. As they conversed, Diana Spring entered, announcing, Miss Margaret Chen sent a maid to inform us that tomorrow, each candidate must submit a handmade craft, either a painting or embroidery. I'm aware. Let me consider the best option. Evelyn glanced at Princess Luke, a sudden idea sparking. I've got it. A paper kite. A paper kite? Do you know how to make one, sister? Crystal Carter inquired, astonished. Certainly, and much more. If you'd like, I'll gift you one tomorrow, shaped like a bird. How does that sound? Crystal Carter nodded enthusiastically. Wonderful. While the palace has many artisans, they only craft complex, precious items. I requested a paper kite, but they deemed it unsuitable for a princess of my noble standing. Humph, it infuriated me. Evelyn simply smiled, offering no reply. Though a princess's status was elevated, certain joys remained elusive. Her parents, comparatively, were far more liberal. Her childhood overflowed with simple pleasures, easily recalled with closed eyes, how carefree and liberating. Upon the princess's return to Sanders' residence hall, Evelyn Morgan immediately began gathering tools and materials for kite-making. Diana Spring and Clara Moon, naturally, proved invaluable assistants, accustomed to crafting kites for amusement at the estate. Evelyn meticulously painted an eagle, while Diana Spring and Clara Moon split bamboo into appropriately sized strips. With preparations complete, Evelyn commenced assembling the kite, a task demanding both precision and patience, where a single misstep could undo all their efforts. Before nightfall, Evelyn finally completed 2 kites, one of which, naturally, was intended as a gift. "Miss, since it's still light, why not test one?" Diana Spring suggested. "All right," Evelyn agreed. "If it doesn't fly, adjustments can be made." She smoothed the long string, winding it around the newly crafted wooden spool. Outside Eternal Blessing Palace stretched a long, wide corridor, kissed by a gentle breeze, the perfect setting for kite flying. Diana Spring volunteered to run, while Evelyn managed the kite's release. "Miss, you can let go now," Diana Spring called as she ran. Releasing. Evelyn smiled, freeing the kite. Clara Moon clapped and cheered, "Ooh. It's almost up. It's flying." The eagle kite initially wobbled, then gradually ascended, stabilizing as it soared beyond the high palace walls, circling gracefully in the air. Evelyn looked up at the kite, delighted. "Hee, our kite flies so high." After flying for about the time it takes to burn an incense stick, a sudden gust struck, causing the kite to sway precariously before the string snapped. "Miss, I don't know where it fell," Diana Spring said worriedly. "It's all right, we'll find it if we search thoroughly," Evelyn reassured. Clara Moon frowned. "I hope it didn't land in the chambers of a consort or princess. Such an incident could incur unpredictable consequences if it displeased a high-ranking individual." "Let's split up and search," Evelyn instructed. The 2 sisters dispersed to search. Evelyn estimated the kite's falling direction and followed the corridor. Passing several palace chambers, she suddenly heard a low, melodious tune. The melancholic sound seemed to tell a sorrowful tale. Curious, she stopped before Don Fook Palace, from where the music emanated. Yesterday, Violet Snow arrived at the Golden Willow Kingdom's royal palace, residing in Don Fook Palace. Carrying weariness and grief, her only solace was her instrument. Leaving her homeland was heartbreaking, but even more so was parting from her beloved, arriving in this foreign land as a sacrifice for a political marriage. She had several sisters, none yet married, and she couldn't understand why it was her. Her father had told her of Alexander Carter, the crown prince of the Golden Willow Kingdom, a true hero whose consort must be the finest woman among thousands. Violet Snow, the renowned beauty of the Snow Pearl Kingdom, possessed the greatest beauty in her land. Yet, her heart already belonged to another, leaving no room for any prince. The music grew faster, more resentful. Violet Snow wished to break her fingers, only the bleeding pain could momentarily distract her from the sorrow. Following the sound, Evelyn saw a beautiful young woman weeping as she played, her sorrow evident. Behind her stood another young woman, likely her handmaid. The handmaid, unable to bear the sight, stepped forward and held the princess's hand. "Princess, please maintain your composure." "Composure? Lily Grant, why don't I feel pain? My fingers are clearly bleeding, why don't I feel anything?" "Princess!" Lily Grant called. Violet Snow's tears continued to flow. "Where is he now? Does he miss me? Does he lose sleep and appetite thinking of me? Princess, please stop thinking of him. Forget him. You are now a prospective bride of the Golden Willow Kingdom." Lily Grant blushed. It wouldn't be good if others overheard. "Let them hear," I don't care. Violet Snow lamented, for one whose heart is already dead, death might be a release. Lily Grant was alarmed. Princess, don't think that way. You are the princess of the Snow Pearl Kingdom, an envoy of the Emperor. Even if not for yourself, you must consider the Snow Pearl Kingdom. Violet Snow was dazed. For the Snow Pearl Kingdom? Yes. Lily Grant said, the Golden Willow Kingdom surpasses the Snow Pearl Kingdom in both wealth and military might. If you become the crown princess, the Snow Pearl Kingdom will fear no other nation. Even if not the crown princess, being a concubine is still beneficial. There's a saying, though crude, it's true, even when beating a dog, one must consider its owner. So, my love must be sacrificed. Violet Snow sobbed, overwhelmed, I don't want this. I don't want to be a princess, I don't want to be a crown princess. I just want to be with him, to be his princess alone. Lily Grant embraced the princess. Princess, stop your delirium. An arrow once shot cannot return. You must bear this burden now. Hearing this, Evelyn was impressed by the insightful handmaid. It turned out that the Snow Pearl Kingdom princess already had a beloved. Who? Who are you? How dare you eavesdrop on us? Lily Grant, noticing the unfamiliar woman entering, immediately stood up, defensively. My apologies, I am Evelyn. I was merely searching for my kite and, hearing the music, entered. I didn't intend to intrude. I didn't hear clearly what you were saying. Evelyn bowed. The princess cried as she spoke, go ahead and tattle, I don't care. Have me executed, it's the best solution. Princess. Lily Grant exclaimed, helpless. Violet Snow pulled a silk handkerchief from her bosom and wiped her tears. Lily Grant, don't be afraid. Your princess, am not spineless. Come what may. Evelyn noticed the handkerchief was embroidered with a hawk and a serpent, like some sort of totem. Lily Grant sighed, scanning the courtyard. Sure enough, a kite hung entangled in a tree. She walked over but couldn't reach it. Unable to use her lightness skill in front of them, Evelyn had to find a long pole to retrieve the kite. Chapter 29 Violet Snow's story. Seeing Princess Violet Snow's continued sadness, Evelyn Morgan offered an excuse, I'm feeling parched. Might I trouble you for a cup of tea? Violet Snow instructed Lily Grant to pour some. You have something to say, don't you? Violet Snow inquired. Please, sit. Truthfully, I'm much like you. I don't relish being confined within the palace walls, Evelyn stated frankly. Is that so? Evelyn nodded. Indeed. Within these walls, I feel like a kite, constantly controlled by another's hand. Violet Snow relaxed slightly. Who are you, truly? Candidate Evelyn Morgan. Violet Snow gave a wry smile. Surely you couldn't have missed hearing my identity just now. Evelyn rose and performed a curtsy. Evelyn Morgan greets Princess Snow of the Pearl Kingdom. Violet Snow was taken aback. You are my senior. We are both candidates. Why this formality? I simply wish for the princess to understand that the Golden Willow Kingdom is not without its merits. While it naturally pales in comparison to one's homeland, it possesses its own order and dignity, its own scenic beauty, and the potential for true friendship. With empathy, one can always find reasons to persevere. Violet Snow pondered Evelyn's words, feeling enlightened. A genuine smile finally graced her lips. Your words are more valuable than a decade of study. I thank you. In truth, your gratitude should be directed towards your insightful handmaiden. Lily Grant's father is a palace chef. She's been with me since childhood. Her understanding nature persuaded my father to allow her to accompany me. Violet Snow then asked, and what of Mistress Morgan? My father and brother are both court officials. With the crown prince seeking a consort, I had no choice but to participate in the selection. Only I know the true taste of this experience. Might I address you as elder sister? Violet Snow inquired. You honor me too much. After a brief exchange, Violet Snow confessed, initially, I resisted this palace. It held nothing I cherished. Yet, after speaking with you, I find an inexplicable sense of peace in your gaze. The days of a candidate are far from easy. Without occupation, one would surely succumb to despair, Evelyn remarked. Princess, having journeyed from afar, allow me to offer this tea as a gesture of welcome. She accepted the teacup from Lily Grant, poured a cup for the princess first, and then raised her own, draining it in a single draught. Elder sister, you are truly forthright. It's getting late. Perhaps we should dine together. Dinner won't be necessary. I fear my handmaidens would worry if I didn't return. I've never been to the Snow Pearl Kingdom. Perhaps you could tell me about it. Speaking of her homeland, Violet Snow began, the Snow Pearl Kingdom lies north of the Golden Willow Kingdom. It's most beautiful during snowfall, when everything is blanketed in white. While our resources are not as abundant as those of the Golden Willow Kingdom, our people are honest and self-sufficient. However, we are frequently harassed by foreign powers, a constant source of worry for my father. Though I have several elder brothers, they are all weak and ineffectual. Thus, my father seeks to secure our nation through marriage alliances, forcing me to leave my homeland for this foreign land. I fully understand your sentiments. Though the palace is not far from my family's estate, I long for them every day. Violet Snow lowered her voice and asked, Elder sister, do you have a beloved? Evelyn shook her head. I confess, I do, Violet Snow admitted. He is my guard, also a general. Our affection blossomed over time. In his eyes, I am the most adorable and pure princess. The days with him by my side were filled with contentment and joy. He loves me more than anyone in this world, even more than my parents. He never allowed me to suffer even the slightest harm. But now, for the sake of my kingdom, we are forced to part. Without him in this palace, I feel as though I might die. At this point, Violet Snow appeared weary, her complexion pale. The princess has been in low spirits lately, with little appetite, hence her weakened state, Lily Grant explained. For the sake of your beloved, princess, you must take care of yourself, Evelyn urged. I have some knowledge of medicine. Allow me to examine your pulse and prescribe a remedy. I assure you it will be effective. Very well. I, too, have noticed the princess's declining health, Lily Grant added anxiously, quickly guiding the princess's hand towards Evelyn. Violet Snow offered no resistance. Evelyn carefully examined her pulse. After a moment, her expression turned serious, confusing the princess. What is it? Is something amiss with the princess? Lily Grant asked Evelyn. Princess, have you experienced any morning sickness recently? Evelyn inquired. Yes, the princess has mentioned a lack of appetite, but we attributed it to a simple disinterest in food, Lily Grant replied. Have you felt any chills lately? Evelyn continued. This time, the princess herself nodded. What is wrong with me? Princess, forgive my directness, but when was your last menstrual cycle? Evelyn asked, her gaze fixed on the princess's face. The princess's complexion paled further, her lips trembling as she asked, could you mean? I wouldn't deceive you. It appears you are with child, Evelyn confirmed. What? Lily Grant exclaimed in shock. Princess, how could this be? Violet Snow lowered her head, her face flushed. It's true. Over 2 months ago, we shared a forbidden fruit. But I harbor no regrets. In that moment, I was the happiest woman alive. Oh. Lily Grant was speechless, staring at the princess. After a long pause, she whispered, we're doomed, princess. This is a capital offense. Did no one examine you upon entering the palace? Evelyn inquired. No. Perhaps they deemed it unnecessary, Violet Snow replied. Your beloved is surely unaware of this, isn't he? Evelyn surmised. Violet Snow nodded. Indeed. We've been apart for over a month. I only recently discovered it myself. Alas, what is meant to be will be. It seems my child and I are not fated to be together. We shall likely descend to the Yellow Springs together. But perhaps it's for the best. With my child by my side, we won't be lonely on the road to the underworld. Tears streamed down her face as she spoke. Witnessing the princess's despair, Evelyn's heart was filled with compassion. Princess, don't weep. We must find a way to protect you and your child. Lily Grant suddenly knelt before Evelyn. Mistress, I know you are a kind soul. Please, find a way to save the princess. Lily Grant would be eternally grateful, even if it means serving as your ox or horse in the next life. Evelyn addressed Lily Grant, I haven't devised a plan yet. However, while the princess is currently a candidate, she holds no official title. Technically, she is not yet the crown prince's consort. Even if this were to come to light, given her status as a princess of the Snow Pearl Kingdom, she would at worst be sent back home. But what would the people of the Snow Pearl Kingdom think? A returned princess bride? What a disgrace that would be. I don't care. As long as I can leave this palace, even if it means wandering the earth, I will protect my child. Violet Snow caressed her belly, her eyes resolute. I believe he will find me eventually. Even if General Miller were to reach the Golden Willow Kingdom, he wouldn't be able to enter the palace, Lily Grant pointed out. Then all the better. Our family of 3 can be reunited in the afterlife. Violet Snow declared resolutely. Evelyn intervened. Princess, for the sake of your child, you must abandon such thoughts. We are but strangers. Why would you help me? If this goes awry, won't you be implicated? Violet Snow reasoned thoughtfully. I've already burdened Caroline enough in this life. I can't implicate you, elder sister. Evelyn replied, I'm not entirely sure why. Perhaps I simply cannot bear the thought of harm befalling your child. Tears of gratitude welled up in Violet Snow's eyes. Elder sister, I am truly fortunate to have met you in this desolate palace. You are a true bodhisattva. Violet Snow attempted to kneel before Evelyn, but Evelyn stopped her. You are with child. I cannot accept such a gesture. It's getting late. I must return to Eternal Blessing Palace. I'll visit you again tomorrow evening, perhaps a bit later, to avoid unwanted attention. I have no one to rely on in this palace. Now, my only hope rests with you, Violet Snow expressed gratefully. Let me go and think of a way, don't worry and don't be hasty. Yes. Lily Grant, watching Evelyn's back as she walked away with the kite, said, Princess, we have truly met a noble person. Indeed, looking into her eyes, I knew she wouldn't deceive me. My child and I will certainly be safe and sound. Violet Snow said, then murmured to herself, Caroline, where are you? I really want to see you. Eternal Blessing Palace, miss, you're finally back. Where did you pick up the kite? Diana Spring, relieved to see her mistress return, said, it's almost evening, you should have dinner. Clara Moon attended to her mistress, helping her wash her hands. Miss, this kite is probably broken, isn't it? It's all right, I can fix it later. Evelyn, having washed her hands, looked at the food on the table. Have you 2 eaten yet? Not yet, Mississippi. Join me, then. It will be more lively. Evelyn invited them with a smile. Diana Spring and Clara Moon didn't stand on ceremony and sat down to eat. Clara Moon said, Miss, without you here, sister and I had no appetite. Actually, I've been hungry for a long time. You're just greedy. Diana Spring teased. So are you. Clara Moon retorted. You two are really like a pair of precious gems sometimes. Evelyn said, then lowered her head to eat. After dinner, Evelyn, while mending a kite, suddenly thought of something and said, Diana Spring, tomorrow morning, go to the Imperial Pharmacy and tell them I haven't been sleeping well. Ask them to prescribe a calming tonic. Yes, miss, if your sleep isn't good, you should take a tonic. Diana Spring committed it to memory. Evelyn wrote a note, then said to the two maids, I'm going to see Emma. I wonder if she's retired for the night. Emma Price, since meeting her father, besides visiting Refined Elegance Hall, had confined herself to her room, praying for her mother's health and the family's peace. Evelyn, upon going to see her, was stopped by the maid guarding Emma Price's door. Miss Evelyn, my mistress says she wishes to concentrate on her prayers and cannot be disturbed. I sincerely apologize. It's admirable that she has such a filial heart. It's all right, I can tell you instead. Emma Price was taken aback. Tell me. Diana Spring and Clara Moon are unavailable. Tomorrow, could you please go to the Imperial Pharmacy to fetch some medicine for me? I've already written the prescription. Here it is. Evelyn handed the note to Emma Price. Emma Price accepted without looking. Miss, I can't read. Don't worry, I won't forget. Thank you very much. You're too kind, Mississippi. You always help us. It's only right that I do this small task for you. Emma Price grinned. Chapter 30, A visit the following day. After breakfast, Evelyn went to Sanders' residence hall. Isabella Carter was overjoyed to see the kite her sister had made. Thank you, sister, for this kite. When we're free, let's fly it together, shall we? Isabella Carter said with a bright smile, if you visit me every day, I'll be even happier. If you have nothing to do, you can come to Eternal Blessing Palace, Evelyn said. Since the Crown Prince hasn't chosen a consort yet, I'll always be there. If a Crown Princess is chosen, I'm afraid you'll have to go to Lord Morgan's residence to see me. No, I want you to stay in the palace with me. Isabella Carter said, acting spoiled. Aren't there enough palace maids and nannies to keep you company? Evelyn said with a laugh. Later, if you marry a prince consort, naturally you won't be able to see me anymore. I just like being with you, Isabella Carter said. Since I was little, I've been closest to the Crown Prince, my brother. Even Fifth Brother was jealous. Ah, both Fifth Brother and the Crown Prince are my elder brothers, and now I have another sister to talk to. Evelyn blinked and said, so you must understand His Highness the Crown Prince very well, then. Isabella Carter smiled knowingly. Sister Evelyn, could it be that you've started to like my brother? Oh, no, I'm just curious. As the Crown Prince of a country, what kind of person is he? Is he cruel? Evelyn deliberately spoke like this. Isabella Carter said excitedly, of course not. Sister, you misunderstand my brother. Although he looks cold, he is actually a very affectionate person. As long as those half-brothers don't bother him, as long as there are no wars between countries, he enjoys a leisurely life. Those brothers? Will they also harm him? Evelyn was stunned. Since ancient times, the position of Crown Prince has always been filled with the smell of blood. Aren't there few records in history? After the Crown Prince is the Emperor. Anyone with a little talent and strategy will think of ways to seize the position of Crown Prince. The National Preceptor once said that my brother has the appearance of an emperor, is destined to be the Crown Prince, and is the son of the Empress, so he was born the irreplaceable Crown Prince. Those brothers were fine when they were young, but the older they get, the greater their ambitions become. Everyone wants to scheme against my brother's position as Crown Prince. He truly faces internal and external troubles, and can only secretly practice martial arts to strengthen his defenses in order to live peacefully until now. He once told me that if he could choose, he would rather not be born into the royal family. It turned out that the Crown Prince also had unspeakable difficulties. Evelyn remained silent. Isabella Carter continued, in order to practice martial arts, my brother has worked hard since he was a child. His willpower is truly admirable, and he has a very strong foundation. That azure dragon sword only kills bad people. Sister, Isabella can swear to heaven, His Highness the Crown Prince is truly a good person. So, if the palace maids or servants make mistakes, how are they usually punished? My brother leaves it to the elders in the harem to handle. If the punishment is unreasonable, he will come up with his own method. Speaking of this, Isabella Carter said with a smile, "Don't worry, he won't kill anyone. He only punishes them by not allowing them to speak for a few days, or emptying chamber pots at night for a week, sometimes even going without food for a whole day." Evelyn burst out laughing. This crown prince, she really didn't know what to say. "You're laughing, which means my brother still has some lovable qualities, right? Then what if it's a serious matter?" "Oh, then it depends on what kind of serious matter it is. On the battlefield, my brother is extremely brave and never gives the enemy a chance to escape. By the way, let me tell you, my brother's snow arrow silver needle hidden weapon can be said to be 100% accurate." Looking at Isabella's proud expression, Evelyn remembered the first night she stayed in the palace, the crown prince's silver needle missed its target. Otherwise, she wouldn't even know how she died. "Sister, what is true love?" Isabella Carter asked. True love. Evelyn thought for a moment. Filial piety is paramount. Does that count as true love? No, I'm talking about the love between a man and a woman. Evelyn was stumped. I don't understand either. My brother always says he doesn't have true love, but I don't think so. How can someone so affectionate to his subordinates and loyal to the country not have true love? Perhaps he hasn't met his soulmate yet, Evelyn guessed. Isabella Carter looked at Evelyn seriously. Sister, your thoughts coincide with mine. If you could like my brother, or if my brother could like you, that would be wonderful. You're teasing me again. Evelyn's heart turned cold. Her illness didn't allow her to have true love, and the other party was the crown prince, making it even more impossible. Princess, the hawthorn you wanted has arrived. Lucy Harper came in carrying a basket of hawthorn. Just in time. The weather has been hot lately, and fresh hawthorn tea is the best. It's both thirst-quenching and cooling. Sister, I'll give you some. Hawthorn? It's best for pregnant women. Evelyn nodded. Then thank you, sister. This hawthorn must be sweet and sour. Lucy Harper, immediately take some to Eternal Blessing Palace. Yes, princess. I'll go right away. Lucy Harper happily accepted the order. Ever since the assassin incident, Alexander Carter had been thinking, why did he show mercy and spare the woman in the Youth Rejuvenation Pavilion? With his martial arts, killing her would have been as easy as flipping his hand. However, he didn't do it himself but let Gabriel Stone chase after her. Perhaps subconsciously, he didn't think she was an assassin. Thinking of her deliberately lowered voice, Alexander Carter was certain she didn't want him to recognize her voice. Could it be someone he knew? Then, he thought of the woman who dropped the silk handkerchief on the roof and the woman who left the sachet at Blazing Flame Pond. Could they be the same person? What was this mysterious woman's intention? These questions made him restless and uneasy. In his search for answers, he even lost interest in going to the Proud Dragon Pavilion. No matter how charming the concubines were, a pair of bright eyes lingered in his heart. He didn't understand what kind of spell he was under that made him so confused. Was it just because he couldn't catch her? While he was lost in thought, Brittany Winston came in to report, Your Highness, Fifth Prince is here. At the same time, a tall, handsome man entered the main hall. Elder brother, long time no see. Are you well? Yu Xian, you've finally returned to the palace. Alexander Carter looked at the newcomer. Elder brother, why are you confining yourself in this main hall? Do you want to rest so early? The sun hasn't even set yet. James Carter was 4 years older than Isabella, but he was as lively as her, humorous, and always pretended to be indifferent to worldly affairs. Moreover, he was very content with his position. He had secretly rejoiced that he was only the Empress's son and not the crown prince. That burden could only be borne by someone as brave and skilled in battle as his elder brother. When did you return to the palace? I heard about the assassin as soon as I returned. James Carter sat down. Brittany Winston served fragrant tea, and he took a few sips. The tea at elder brother's place is indeed delicious. It's still not as good as the water and mountains of the countryside. Alexander Carter said. In the entire palace, only he called him elder brother, and it hadn't changed for many years. This younger brother liked to travel through mountains and rivers, wrote beautiful calligraphy, and was also very skilled in calligraphy. Elder brother, you can joke with me, which shows that the assassin incident didn't affect you. James Carter said again, by the way, elder brother is about to find a wife. Congratulations. You've been out of the palace for so long, and you're teasing me like this as soon as you return. Don't you know what's on my mind? Alexander Carter said. It's natural for men to marry when they reach a certain age, and for women to marry when they reach a certain age. What about you? You haven't even established a princess consort yet. Alexander Carter glanced at him. Elder brother hasn't married yet, so naturally, as your younger brother, I can't surpass you, James Carter said. Since he was young, his mother had arranged a marriage for him. He had also met the woman, and they were very compatible. They were just waiting for the day they would get married. He understood his elder brother's temperament well, the queen mother couldn't force him. If his brother didn't want to, he would handle it his own way, and then there would be a good show to watch. Oh, then we'll have to wait a long while, Alexander Carter said insinuatingly. What's wrong, no suitable candidates? Do you think elder brother is someone who just accepts anyone? James Carter chuckled. Heh, elder brother indeed has quite a few women. I just returned to the palace and went to Mother's Phoenix Serenity Palace, only then did I learn of his many requirements for a sister-in-law. Mother even lamented to me about it. Elder brother would rather have none than settle, Alexander Carter explained. However, only such a woman is worthy of elder brother, capable of holding the position of crown princess of the Golden Willow Kingdom. That's right, as crown princess, the future empress, she is a role model for the people. When I'm not by her side, she can stand on her own without being harmed by others. She must possess both beauty and intelligence, so as not to be ridiculed by other countries, and to display our nation's prestige and demeanor. As for unique talents, I hope she is an exceptional woman, capable of earning the people's admiration and respect, James Carter added. If such a woman truly exists, it would be a blessing for the Golden Willow Kingdom, James Carter calmly concluded. Yuyan, are these the only things you wanted to ask about today? Big brother, it's been a while since we last shared a drink. How about we drink to our heart's content today? All right, someone bring the wine. Alexander Carter agreed. He was feeling bored, and this was a perfect opportunity to indulge in some drinks. Soon, the table was laden with delicacies, and of course, fine wine. A palace maid filled their cups. James Carter raised his cup and said, Big brother, allow me to offer you this toast, wishing you success in finding a crown princess, and may you two have a blissful marriage. Yuyan, we are brothers by blood, there's no need for such formalities. Come, I'll toast you too. Alexander Carter raised his cup. All right, let's drink till we drop today. James Carter said heartily. Since they hadn't seen each other in a while, they naturally had a lot to talk about. Alexander Carter recounted the happenings within the palace, while James Carter spoke of his free and easy life outside. If only I were you, Alexander Carter said, only during times of war do I get to leave the palace. Why is it that we are both born of the same mother, yet our treatment is so different? James Carter laughed heartily and said, Big brother, just accept your fate. Only a capable person like you can hold the future destiny of the Golden Willow Kingdom. It's your misfortune, but the great fortune of the Golden Willow Kingdom. Alexander Carter sighed and took another gulp of wine. No matter how much resentment he felt, he was still the high and mighty Crown Prince. Chapter 31, A Gamble, Part 1, In the Don't Fuck Palace, Violet Snow sat in her room, unable to sleep. Thinking about her precarious future, she became increasingly worried. Princess, don't think about it anymore. Please rest early. No, sister said she would return. I'll wait a little longer. Violet Snow said. I wonder what method Miss Morgan has come up with. Lily Grant suddenly heard a soft knock on the door. I'll go open it. It must be her. She opened the door and saw a masked figure. Utterly shocked, she almost screamed, but the figure covered her mouth. Shoo, Lily Grant, it's me. General Miller. Why are you here? Lily Grant patted her chest. You almost scared me to death. Violet Snow had already risen and rushed into General Miller's arms. Caroline, why are you here? It's very dangerous here. Even though he was wearing night clothes, his embrace was still as warm as ever. Princess, General, please keep your voices down. I'll go keep watch outside. Lily Grant tactfully withdrew. Caroline Miller removed the black cloth and held Violet tightly. I've missed you day and night for over a month. He inhaled her familiar scent. Violet, my Violet, you've suffered. Violet Snow caressed his face and slowly kissed his thick, warm lips. Caroline. Miller felt like melting. He poured all his longing into this passionate kiss, embracing his princess. He was the happiest man alive. A long while later, the two breathlessly parted. Violet Snow shyly placed his hand on her belly. Caroline, I'm carrying your child. What did you say? Caroline Miller thought he had misheard. I said I'm pregnant with your child, it's absolutely true. Violet Snow radiated a maternal glow. No matter what, I must protect it. A pity, the assassination of the Golden Willow Kingdom's crown prince failed, making future attempts even more difficult. Caroline Miller frowned. What? Assassinate the crown prince? Violet Snow's face paled with fright. If they discover Snow Pearl Kingdom's involvement, it could ignite a war. Unlikely. Caroline Miller stated, we operated in 3 groups. One operative perished, and upon seeing the unfavorable situation, my subordinates and I swiftly retreated. We all carried Snow Pearl Kingdom's unique poison, prepared for suicide if discovered. I underestimated the Golden Willow Kingdom Crown Prince's prowess. Who knows when another opportunity will arise? Why endure such hardship? Everything I do is for you. Vu Ni, when I learned of your arranged marriage to the Golden Willow Kingdom, I began plotting. Over a month ago, I positioned my people near the Golden Willow Kingdom's palace, bribed guards, obtained palace maps, and patiently awaited an opportunity. Only with the Crown Prince's death can you regain your freedom, and we can be together again. Vu Ni, I cannot lose you. My love for you is immeasurable. They embraced tightly. Violet Snow said, I won't blame you, no matter what you do. Our lives are intertwined. But escaping this place won't be easy. Caroline Miller suggested, let's leave now, under the cover of darkness. I'll take you from the palace. No, you possess Lightfoot skill, but I don't, and I'm pregnant. If they can't find me, they'll surely send someone to Snow Pearl Kingdom. We can't take that risk. Then what do we do? Wait here to die. I can't bear to watch you become another man's concubine. Be at ease, my heart belongs only to you. Violet Snow gazed at him lovingly. Caroline Miller kissed her cheek. Vu Ni, I need no one but you. As they shared this tender moment, Lily Grant, attending outside, softly announced, Princess, Lady Morgan has arrived. Who? Do you know someone here? Caroline Miller tensed. It's all right, she's here to help us. Violet Snow urged him, Caroline, hide quickly. Caroline Miller concealed himself behind a long curtain, listening intently. Evelyn entered the chamber, noticing the lingering tears on Violet Snow's face, and said, Princess, are you still grieving? This isn't good for the child. She placed the items she carried onto the table. Sister, you've come. Thank you for your concern. Violet Snow looked at the items on the table. Are these for me? Indeed. You're pregnant now, so try to stay positive. I brought you fresh hawthorn berries, you'll love the sweet and sour taste. And here's some medicine for a stable pregnancy. Your pulse is steady, but there are signs of occasional chi stagnation. These herbs should help. Medicine for my pregnancy? Where did you get these herbs? It's dangerous if the palace discovers them. You risked so much for me. Gratitude filled Violet Snow's heart. I had 2 maidservants gather the herbs separately. Combined, they create the pregnancy tonic. Don't worry, no one will find out. Evelyn smiled, if they discover me, it's fine. But if they trace it back to you, Princess, I would be eternally guilty. Violet Snow praised, Sister, you are truly thoughtful and intelligent. Evelyn was about to speak when she glanced down and noticed a pair of men's shoes beneath the curtain. Immediately alert, she asked, Princess, is there someone else here? No, no one. Violet Snow's heart pounded with panic. Why would you ask such a thing, sister? Evelyn didn't reply, walking directly to the curtain and sweeping it aside with one hand. Caroline Miller, poised to silence Evelyn, was caught off guard by her preparedness. Evelyn swiftly dodged, expertly striking a pressure point to immobilize him. Princess, she inquired, I presume this is your lover? Violet Snow blushed, a sheepish smile gracing her lips. Indeed, nothing escapes your notice, sister. He is my beloved. I implore you, have mercy on him. Evelyn struck another pressure point, Caroline Miller's body stiffening momentarily before relaxing. He dropped to one knee. I apologize for my earlier transgression. I have heard of your willingness to aid Violet, and I am eternally grateful. Violet Snow also knelt. This is all my fault. Sister, I beg you, for the sake of my position as Princess of the Snow Pearl Kingdom, forgive Caroline. Honestly, you too. Evelyn retreated 2 steps. Get up. A man kneeling only brings shame. If I intended to capture him, I would have already raised the alarm. That would only lead to a desperate struggle with no winners. Caroline Miller rose first, then helped Violet Snow to her feet. Violet, you are with child. Do not kneel again. Evelyn looked at Caroline Miller. Your devotion to the princess is evident, but you shouldn't linger here. If the guards discover you, it will be troublesome. Yes, Caroline, you must leave, Violet Snow urged. No, I won't leave until we find a solution, Caroline Miller insisted. It was difficult enough to enter the palace. I must find a way to get you out. After a moment of contemplation, Violet Snow suggested, Sister, Caroline, what if I feign my death? Impossible. You are a princess. If you were to suddenly die within the palace, the royal physician and coroner would conduct an examination. I considered this, and my master gave me soul pills, which can induce a death-like state. However, you are pregnant and cannot take such a potent medicine. Then I will take you now. You know pressure points, so your martial arts must be formidable. Perhaps together we can help Violet escape, proposed Caroline Miller. No, absolutely not. Violet Snow protested. Sister, you have already risked so much to help us. If discovered, you and your family will face charges of treason. Evelyn nodded in agreement, acknowledging the truth in Violet Snow's words. Caroline Miller grew agitated. This won't work, that won't work. What are we to do? If there's no other way, I will risk another attempt on the prince's life. What? You've already attempted to assassinate the prince? Evelyn gasped, suddenly understanding why the prince had immediately suspected her at the youth rejuvenation pavilion. The true assassins were right here. It was a last resort, Caroline Miller admitted. But the prince's martial arts are exceptional. We were no match for him. I won't reveal this, Evelyn assured them. I've devised a plan, but it's a desperate gamble. What is it? Tell me quickly, sister. Violet Snow pleaded. Even if it means facing mountains of blades and seas of fire, for Violet, I will not hesitate. Good, that's all I needed to hear. Evelyn nodded, then briefly outlined her plan. All right, let's do as you say, sister. Violet Snow decided. Now, we just have to take a gamble. Caroline Miller finished, turning to Violet. Violet, be careful. I know. For him, for our child, I will definitely try my best. Violet Snow offered a reassuring smile. Indeed, we're making a wager. Evelyn stated, a wager on your sincere feelings and the Crown Prince's compassion. Evelyn gave a few more instructions before returning to her quarters. Not long after, a dark figure flew over the palace walls, heading back the way it came. Violet Snow followed the plan. The next day, she displayed the arrogant, haughty temperament of a princess in front of everyone, especially at Refined Elegance Hall. She showed displeasure with everyone, scolding and berating them. Since no one in the palace knew her, she acted as unreasonable and outrageous as possible. Evelyn, to cooperate with her, actively participated in the charade, even enduring 2 painful slaps from the princess. Not only that, but she also criticized the food brought to Eternal Grace Pavilion, scolded the palace maids, her words and actions completely unlike a princess. She even cried loudly, causing people to avoid her. This continued for 3 days. The bad behavior of Princess Snow Pearl Kingdom was reported to the Empress by Margaret Chen. The Empress initially didn't believe it, but after witnessing it herself, she was deeply disappointed in the princess and ordered her confined to Eternal Grace Pavilion, not to leave without permission. Lady Chen, having reported to the Empress, naturally relayed the princess's behavior to the Crown Prince. Alexander Carter wasn't surprised upon hearing this. Regardless of her intentions, he wouldn't take this princess into his harem. Coincidentally, the 6th princess visited Proud Dragon Palace, adding fuel to the fire and further solidifying the Crown Prince's resolve not to take the princess as a concubine. Chapter 32, Taking a Gamble, 2, Everything proceeded smoothly. Violet Snow's confinement in Eternal Grace Pavilion was as planned, convenient for both nurturing her pregnancy and the next stage of their plan. Evelyn learned of the Crown Prince's reaction to the princess from Isabella Carter, further bolstering her confidence in their success. Meanwhile, Caroline Miller and his subordinates waited outside the palace, taking turns lurking around the towering walls. Until one afternoon, they saw an eagle kite flying in the sky, their signal. It was time to take the risk. Under the cover of darkness, Caroline Miller once again snuck into Eternal Grace Pavilion. Evelyn and Violet Snow were waiting for him. The 3 exchanged a few brief words, then General Miller and the Princess of Snow Pearl Kingdom changed into the prepared palace-maid attire. Guided by Evelyn, they made their way to Proud Dragon Palace, encountering no obstacles along the way. Late into the night, Alexander Carter remained awake in Proud Dragon Palace, painting. The scene at Scarlet Flame Lake was deeply etched in his mind, haunting him, impossible to erase. 2 palace maids entered with bowed heads. He expressed his annoyance. Didn't I say that those without business here shouldn't disturb me? The 2 palace maids simultaneously knelt. Alexander Carter sensed something amiss, his gaze fixed warily on the 2 figures below. Raise your heads. Violet Snow and Caroline Miller raised their heads. Alexander Carter's azure dragon sword was instantly in his hand. He roared, Gabriel Stone, simultaneously leaping forward, his sword pointed at Caroline Miller. How dare you? You have the audacity to intrude upon Proud Dragon Palace in the dead of night. Gabriel Stone appeared with utmost swiftness, his sword poised to restrain Violet Snow. Your Highness, please allow us to speak. We have not come to assassinate you. Violet Snow, summoning her courage, declared, we risked our lives coming here to make a plea. Oh. And why should I trust you? I swear upon my name as Princess of the Snow Pearl Kingdom, we have come solely for personal reasons. Even if we are wrongly slain, we accept our fate willingly. You are the Princess of the Snow Pearl Kingdom. Alexander Carter maintained the pressure of his sword against Caroline Miller. Indeed, I am Princess Violet Snow of the Snow Pearl Kingdom, and this is General Caroline Miller. Nathan Stone, you come forth as well. Alexander Carter sheathed his azure dragon sword. With them present, his own safety was less of a concern. Gabriel Stone and Nathan Stone, each guarding one of the women, fixed them with menacing glares. Alexander Carter returned to his throne. Speak, I will hear you out. Your Highness, the marriage proposal with the Golden Willow Kingdom was my father's decree. I was unwilling, but for the sake of our kingdom's safety, I had no choice but to obey. General Miller is my beloved, and I now carry their child. Would your Highness still take one such as me as a concubine? Princess, you overestimate yourself. I never entertained such a thought, Alexander Carter stated coldly. Violet Snow's face brightened with relief. In that case, your Highness, would you be so merciful as to spare us? This marriage was decreed by my father. I too am a victim in this matter, with my own reservations. However, Princess, to arrive in our Golden Willow Kingdom no longer a maiden is a grave transgression. Alexander Carter's expression remained icy. Our private commitment and resulting pregnancy were entirely unknown to my father. I only discovered my condition upon arriving here. I implore your Highness to show mercy and spare both myself and the Snow Pearl Kingdom. Violet Snow pleaded, the Snow Pearl Kingdom will forever remember the Golden Willow Kingdom's magnanimity and eternally serve its ruler. Your Highness, this calamity is my doing. Please, let me bear the consequences. Spare the princess and her unborn child. Caroline Miller attempted to rise, but Nathan Stone seized her collar. Struggling, Miller's servant attire tore, revealing a strong arm. Nathan Stone, witnessing this, ripped the sleeve further, exposing a hawk and serpent tattoo. Master, this is it. This is the mark borne by a select few soldiers of the Snow Pearl Kingdom. Humph, so you plotted to assassinate me. Tell me, having walked into my trap, do you expect to leave alive? Alexander Carter sneered. When Nathan Stone had reported the matter, he had already suspected the Snow Pearl Kingdom's princess. He delayed action only to see what tricks they would play. For the princess's freedom, I risked everything. Kill or behead me as you will. I repeat, spare the princess, and Caroline Miller welcomes death. Alexander Carter observed them. Are you truly willing to die for the princess? A thought sparked in his mind, a plan forming. Yes. For my beloved wooer, I would do anything. If she can live and remain well, I will gladly die this instant. With that, Miller grabbed Nathan Stone's sword, intending to end their own life. Alexander Carter launched a snow arrow silver needle, striking the blade. With a clang, the sword fell to the ground. Caroline! Caroline! Violet Snow wailed, tears streaming down her face, I want to die with you. Now that you are gone, what meaning does my life hold? No, Vu Nhi, you must live, live well. Though you've lost me, you still have our child. Vu Nhi, if I die, return quickly to the Snow Pearl Kingdom. Beg your father's forgiveness, then give birth to our child and raise them well. Even in the afterlife, I will smile upon you. Caroline. I can't bear to let you die. Violet Snow cried, collapsing to the ground. Rest assured, my love, once our child is safely born, I will join you. Don't be foolish, Vu Nhi. I willingly die for you. As long as you survive, I harbor no resentment, no regrets. Watching this scene, Alexander Carter's expression softened slightly. Very well. Since you are so determined to die, I have devised a way to slowly torture you to death. Tears streaming down her face, Violet Snow looked at Alexander Carter in terror. Your Highness, please have mercy on Caroline. Don't torment him any further. I can't bear it, please. Alexander Carter appeared unmoved. In his hand, something appeared. This is a poison. Once ingested, it will cause blood to flow from all 7 orifices. The bleeding will continue slowly until all the blood is drained, resulting in death. Do you want to reconsider? Without hesitation, Caroline Miller declared, don't speak of just one poison pill, even if it were 10, 100, I would swallow them all. Alexander Carter tossed the poison pill towards him. Caroline Miller caught it. Vu-Nichai, we will meet again in the next life. Violet Snow collapsed on the ground, sobbing uncontrollably. Caroline, Caroline. Alexander Carter calmly observed all of this. It seemed that in this world, there existed such devoted lovers, willing to sacrifice their lives for each other. Caroline Miller swallowed the poison and soon after closed his eyes, losing consciousness. Caroline. Caroline. Wake up. Look at Vu-Nichai one last time. Violet Snow, disregarding everything, threw herself onto Caroline Miller. Feeling his body growing cold, she suddenly wiped away her tears and began to sing a song of infinite sorrow and grief. After finishing the song, Violet Snow, tears falling, spoke, I thought I could live on, somehow, but now that you are gone, my heart has died with you. Even if I were to force myself to live, the child within me would also perish. Caroline, did you hear the Snow Pearl Kingdom lullaby? You always loved to hear me sing it to you. Wait for me, my love, I will come to you soon. My child, I'm sorry. I cannot bring you into this world. Forgive me. Caroline, don't be afraid. I'm coming. From now on, we will never be apart again. Anticipating Violet Snow's suicidal intentions, Alexander Carter signaled to Gabriel Stone to restrain her hands and firmly grip her jaw to prevent her from biting her tongue. Does it pain you to watch him die? Alexander Carter asked the princess. Yes. Before coming to the Golden Willow Kingdom, I had resolved to die. But to give Caroline a chance at life, I spoke words of hope and encouragement. I am no longer pure, and this will eventually be known, but I do not regret it, and I certainly don't regret having a child with Caroline. In the Snow Pearl Kingdom, we have a tradition where lovers who conceive a child marry, considering it a double blessing. Children are never to be aborted, Violet Snow said mournfully. But I never imagined Caroline would dare to enter the palace to assassinate you for me, nor that he would take poison and die for me. Without him, what hope do I have for the future? Since I cannot end this child's life, I will follow him, taking our child with me. Our family of 3 will be reunited in the afterlife. That thought brings me some comfort. What is love? Alexander Carter murmured. You won't know until you find it, Violet Snow whispered, tears falling. Alexander Carter suddenly waved his hand. Enough of this play. Nathan Stone, bring a bowl of water. Nathan Stone immediately obeyed, splashing water onto Caroline Miller's face. Unexpectedly, she stirred from her unconscious state. Violet, am I still alive? Violet Snow looked at her beloved on the ground, overjoyed. How is this possible? You're alive. She looked towards the Crown Prince. She was never going to die. It wasn't poison. I was merely testing her, Alexander Carter explained. Understanding dawned on Caroline Miller. She helped Violet Snow to her knees. Thank you, Your Highness, for sparing our lives. Your love has earned your lives, Alexander Carter declared. Leave the Golden Willow Kingdom now, and I will act as if nothing has happened. Overwhelmed with gratitude, the 2 women kowtowed. Violet Snow, supported by Caroline Miller, rose to her feet. But your highness, if I leave, what will the royal court say? Simple. We'll say the princess of the Snow Pearl Kingdom, in her arrogance and disrespect, lost her mind and was banished by the crown prince, never to be heard from again. If the Snow Pearl Kingdom sends emissaries, the Golden Willow Kingdom will know how to respond. You put on quite a performance, I imagine you've already considered this. Thank you, your highness, for your understanding, Violet Snow said gratefully. And as for you, Alexander Carter said, his gaze cold as he looked at General Miller, I admire your courage in risking your life for your love. Had I been determined to execute you today, you would already be in the underworld. Take your beloved and leave this palace. If I ever see you again, I will kill you. Thank you, your highness. Gabriel Stone, escort them out of the palace yourself, Alexander Carter commanded. Yes, your highness. The princess and the general expressed their gratitude once more and turned to follow Gabriel Stone. Wait, Alexander Carter called after them. Violet Snow turned, her heart pounding. Had the crown prince changed his mind? You are a newcomer. Who aided you in secret? Violet Snow met the crown prince's gaze. Like your highness, she has a kind heart. She predicted your highness would show mercy to our love and spare our lives. As for her identity, I cannot reveal it. If fate allows, you will meet her. When you do, please express my gratitude. Violet and Caroline bid you farewell. Nathan Stone watched the two women depart, supporting each other. Master, are you truly letting them go? Do I have a choice? Alexander Carter recalled the words of the Snow Pearl Kingdom's princess. The one who helped them was right. Their love moved me. If I had killed them, wouldn't I have become a heartless tyrant? Your highness is truly merciful. Enough. I wish to rest. For some reason, Alexander Carter felt strangely at peace. Chapter 33, Sisters in Arms. Evelyn, biding her time, watched as they were escorted from Proud Dragon Palace. Only when their serene expressions confirmed their safety did she return to Eternal Blessing Palace. The knowledge of saving 3 lives lightened her steps and filled her heart with joy. Finding Diana Spring and Clara Moon still asleep in their chambers, Evelyn, finally at ease, retired to her own room. The entire operation was cloaked in secrecy, unknown even to the 2 handmaidens. The next morning in Refined Elegance Hall, Evelyn's spirits were exceptionally high, a change even Emma Price noticed. Sister, you seem so cheerful today. Has something pleasant occurred? Evelyn smiled, replying, perhaps it's simply the lovely weather. True, within these palace walls, blossoms bloom year-round, filling the air with their fragrance. Indeed, it lifts one's spirits. Evelyn gazed at the pristine azure sky, a sight that brought tranquility. Margaret Chen entered, her face stern, followed by the 2 daughters of the Prime Minister, Victoria Evans and Sophia Evans. Attention, everyone. I have an announcement. Margaret Chen's gaze swept over the assembled candidates. Do not assume that wrongdoing will go unnoticed. This is the Imperial Palace, every action is observed. Confusion rippled through the candidates, unsure of the official's meaning. Victoria Evans, step forward. Victoria Evans, her usual arrogance subdued, responded, What instructions do you have, Madam Official? As the Prime Minister's daughter, I expected more from a lady of such high standing. However, it seems I was mistaken. Why, Madam Official? Victoria Evans asked, a flicker of panic in her eyes, uncertain of her transgression. You are known for your competitive spirit and for keeping peculiar pets. Tell me, do you keep cockroaches and toads? I do. Did you steal from Emma Price and the others? I did. Do you keep golden poison dart frogs? Margaret Chen continued, had Sophia Evans not confessed, I would have remained ignorant of such a venomous creature. Victoria Evans froze. Golden poison dart frogs are deadly. How could I dare keep such a thing? Margaret Chen produced a jeweled box, revealing 2 dead golden bees. I have both witnesses and evidence. Do you still deny it? Witnesses? What witnesses? Victoria Evans's voice trembled. Your own sister, Sophia Evans. Margaret Chen gestured towards the other Prime Minister's daughter. She has confessed everything, unable to bear your actions any longer. She chose to expose your crimes, forsaking sisterly affection. Your behavior is unacceptable. Harboring such venomous creatures, if you were to become a concubine, what kind of example would that set? Madam Official, I am wrongly accused. I admit to keeping cockroaches and toads, but I swear I do not have golden poison dart frogs. Please, investigate thoroughly. Evelyn chose not to mention Anna Lane's poisoning, unwilling to escalate the situation. Sophia Evans knelt, pleading, Madam Official, please, for the sake of my father's esteemed position in the court, show mercy to my sister. It is out of respect for the Prime Minister's family that I have not yet reported this to the Empress. If Her Majesty were to learn of this, her wrath would be severe, and you, Victoria Evans, would face grave punishment. Thank you for your leniency, Madam Official. Sophia Evans offered gratitude on her sister's behalf. Sophia Evans, there's no need for your false kindness and hypocrisy. It's disgusting. Victoria Evans spat, now I see your true colors. Sister, please don't blame me. If you continue down this path, there will be no turning back. Sophia Evans's eyes welled with tears. I did this to prevent you from sinking further into the mire. Please understand. Victoria Evans rose and began kicking and hitting her sister. Sophia Evans simply bowed her head, offering no resistance. Enough. Is this the behavior of a noble lady? Margaret Chen roared. Victoria Evans, stop this instant. If you continue this disruption, do not blame me, Gabriel Stone, for the consequences. Victoria Evans delivered one final kick before ceasing her assault. The other candidates reacted with a mixture of fear and pity. Margaret Chen continued, Victoria Evans, your character and conduct are unsuitable for the palace. Pack your belongings and return home. Madam Official, I am wrongly accused. I will not accept this. Victoria Evans wailed. Sophia Evans remained seated on the floor, motionless. Victoria Evans, leave. Margaret Chen declared. After lunch, all candidates are to assemble here. I have a further announcement. Only after the other candidates had departed did Victoria Evans, defeated, return to her quarters, where Sophia Evans awaited her. Sophia Evans, I never expected this. Your true nature has finally revealed itself. Victoria Evans, too weary to fight, conceded, fine, I admit defeat. Don't blame me, sister. This was father's will. Sophia Evans explained, when I last saw him, he warned me that your blunt nature would make survival in the palace difficult. You lie. Father would never say such a thing. Victoria Evans exclaimed. Believe what you will. You can ask father yourself. Sophia Evans continued, you constantly flaunt your status and act as if you hold all the cards. Even I find it unbearable, let alone others. This is the best outcome. You haven't lost face, and you can return home to your comfortable life. Sophia Evans, you think I don't know what you're plotting? You want to eliminate me so you can claim the position of crown princess. If I were to stay, that position would undoubtedly be mine. Sophia Evans laughed. Ha ha ha, my dear sister, you overestimate yourself. In terms of wit and beauty, am I in any way inferior to you? As for scheming, you are no match for me. Fine, so you were the one who kept the golden poison dart frogs, weren't you? Victoria Evans challenged. So what? Sophia Evans raised an eyebrow. I'll report you to the official. Victoria Evans fumed. Go ahead. See who she believes. Sophia Evans replied calmly. You're a fool. Who told you to be so arrogant and competitive? Who told you to frighten concubine Rue with cockroaches? You brought this upon yourself. Go ahead and report me. At worst, we both lose. Don't be so smug. It's still uncertain who will emerge victorious. Even if I don't compete with you, other candidates will fight you tooth and nail. Anyone who stands in my way will be crushed. Sophia Evans's eyes flashed with malice. Father has decreed that the position of crown princess must be mine. It will not only bring glory to our family but also immense wealth. Think carefully, sister. Do you wish to share in my prosperity or suffer alongside me? Victoria Evans hesitated. Your silence indicates you choose prosperity. I've instructed Ju Xiang to pack your belongings. John Evans will be waiting outside the palace gates in an hour to escort you home. So you planned this all along? Victoria Evans said dejectedly. Fine, I won't fight anymore. Do as you please. But as your elder sister, I must warn you, everyone in this palace is a wolf in sheep's clothing. You may not be able to outmaneuver them all. Don't worry about that, sister. Just wait to become the crown princess's sister. Ju Xiang, escort my sister home. Ju Xiang entered from the doorway, her head bowed low. Soon, Victoria Evans, filled with resentment, departed the magnificent palace, leaving behind the coveted position of crown princess and the power struggle to her half-sister. She finally understood the sting of betrayal and the venomous nature of a woman's heart. Back in Eternal Blessing Palace, embroidering with Emma Price, Evelyn's mind remained preoccupied with the events of the day. The image of the Evans sisters' conflict lingered in her thoughts. Not just incredibly toxic, but also remarkably resilient, not easily extinguished. She'd examined the two dead bees, the stingers remained, clearly not having perished from stinging. Their bodies were intact, plump, lifelike, not suggesting death by disease, but rather suffocation or deliberate killing. But why? Why would Sophia Evans suddenly attack her own sister? Where did this bee venom originate? Sister, what's wrong? Emma Price asked, startled by Evelyn's expression. I'm fine, just pondering a saying. What saying? Emma Price inquired curiously. Seeing and hearing isn't necessarily believing. Evelyn hinted. Emma Price thought for a moment, then said, Sister's words are profound, I don't quite understand. How can what you see with your own eyes not be true? Never mind, it was just nonsense. Let's embroider. Evelyn lowered her head, stitching a vibrant butterfly. Diana Spring approached them. Miss, have you heard? Yesterday, the Snow Pearl Kingdom princess suddenly went mad and was expelled from the palace by the crown prince. Mad? Oh, how frightening. Emma Price paused her embroidery. The princess, hitting and cursing everyone, weeping and causing a commotion, it turns out those were signs of impending madness. She even struck you, sister. Indeed, miss, your face was swollen when you returned, the princess's blows were quite severe. No wonder such a strange illness befell her. Diana Spring remarked. Diana Spring, don't speak carelessly. Evelyn scolded. There's a reason for everything. She's left the palace, we shouldn't speak ill of others behind their backs. Madness? Was it Violet Snow's fabrication? Or the crown prince's excuse? Regardless, the matter was finally concluded. Sister, what will Margaret Chen announce after lunch? Emma Price changed the subject. Considering we've been instructed by the court lady for nearly 30 days, she'll likely discuss future arrangements. Evelyn casually guessed. Sister is quite right. Emma Price added, I'm truly looking forward to meeting His Royal Highness, the Crown Prince. As she spoke, her cheeks flushed. Tall and handsome, majestic and imposing. Evelyn touched her lips, recalling her first kiss, her face involuntarily reddening, though her true appearance remained hidden. Ah! What did sister say? Oh, I mean, His Royal Highness the Crown Prince must be tall and handsome, majestic and imposing. Emma Price giggled. Sister guessed correctly. I secretly inquired with the palace maids who've met His Royal Highness. They all say the Crown Prince is the most exceptional gentleman in the Golden Willow Kingdom. So what? Perhaps he's arrogant and domineering. Evelyn recalled his actions at the Scarlet Flame Lake. If I didn't know sister hadn't met the Crown Prince, I'd think you had. Keep your voice down, speaking ill of the Crown Prince is a crime. Emma Price teased, yet spoke seriously. Hashtag Chapter 30 For the trial, Part 1, Clara Moon returned from Twee Palace, carrying a brown jar. Clara Moon, where did you get this? Diana Spring asked her sister. I met Lucy Harper with the princess on my way back. This is honey, I heard the princess gave it to Miss to try, so I brought some back. The sixth princess is truly very thoughtful towards our Miss, Diana Spring said with a smile. I never thought elder sister would be so loved by the sixth princess. She never forgets elder sister when there are delicacies. I'm a little jealous, Emma said. Knowing she was joking, Evelyn laughed and said, well then, share and share alike. Clara Moon, give half of the honey to Emma, so you can both try it. Yes, Miss, Diana Spring replied, her face full of smiles. She loved sweets the most. Thank you, Miss. Diana Spring expressed her gratitude. Thank you, elder sister, Emma also said with a cheerful smile. Seeing the honey, Evelyn thought of Anna Lane. Surely her wind poison must have completely healed by now. Phoenix Serenity Palace. Anna Lane, time flies so fast. Has it been almost 3 weeks since the selection of ladies to enter the palace? Sophia Lambert stood in the courtyard, admiring the flowers. The king, knowing the queen's fondness for camellias and peonies, had specifically instructed the palace gardeners to plant many for the queen's enjoyment. Yes, your majesty, it has been over 2 weeks, Anna Lane replied. I've been to Refined Elegance Hall to observe, and there's no shortage of outstanding candidates among them. Sophia Lambert nodded in satisfaction. Indeed, these young, beautiful ladies are like the camellias in the garden, beautiful and fragrant. However, the peony is different, it is the king of flowers. Only one person is truly comparable to the peony. Your Majesty speaks wisely. The only one truly worthy of His Highness the Crown Prince is the Crown Princess. Anna Lane said. However, the Crown Prince's selection criteria are very demanding. Does Your Majesty truly intend to let the Crown Prince decide for himself? Anna Lane, you've hit the nail on the head, Sophia Lambert sighed and said, oh, I agreed to the Crown Prince's stringent requirements out of necessity before. Now that I think about it, if we truly follow his wishes, I fear we won't find anyone suitable in the entire Golden Willow Kingdom. Perhaps His Highness was only momentarily impulsive. It's been so long, his thoughts may have changed. I hope so, Sophia Lambert said. If the Crown Prince insists on having his way, I won't let it go easily. Marriage is a major life event, and since ancient times, it has always been the words of the matchmaker and the decision of the parents. As the mistress of the harem, can I not even have a say in my own son's marriage? Your Majesty is wise, Anna Lane said. A few days ago, I met a candidate. Although her appearance wasn't particularly striking, she possessed an air of intelligence. It would be wonderful if the Crown Prince could choose her as a consort. Impossible. The Crown Prince's first condition is that the Crown Princess must have outstanding beauty. No matter how intelligent she is, it's secondary. Anna Lane could only remain silent. Anna Lane, let's not talk about this anymore. Come and admire the flowers with me. Yes, Your Majesty. Anna Lane looked up and said, "Your Majesty, the sixth princess is here." "Mother, your complexion is radiant today." Isabella Carter bowed to Sophia Lambert, then approached her side. "My child, you haven't come to greet your mother for days." Isabella Carter wheedled, "Oh, mother, I think of you every day. Look, here's a sachet for you, please accept it." Alice Rose brought forward a tray holding 2 sachets. Sophia Lambert picked up a sachet, inhaled its fragrance, then examined the embroidered pattern. "I suspect you're offering this with ulterior motives." Isabella Carter pouted, "Mother's wisdom is unmatched. You've seen through me. I know your needlework, child. Such skill isn't achieved overnight. Which seamstress crafted this? I'm looking to have a gold-embroidered garment made. I'll commission her." "Mother, this wasn't made by a palace seamstress." Isabella Carter confessed, "It was made by a candidate for court lady. We share a connection. She gifted me several sachets and even a paper kite. And so you offer 2 to me?" "Indeed. One to greet you, mother, and the other to request a favor." "A favor? What kind of favor?" Sophia Lambert was curious. "Mother, I'm fond of this candidate, but her appearance is unremarkable. My brother won't choose her as his consort. I hope you'll decree that she remain in the palace as my companion." "That's impossible." Sophia Lambert shook her head. "She's a candidate for court lady, of marriageable age. Keeping her here would ruin her chances." Isabella Carter said, "I hadn't considered that. You're so childish. One whim after another. Does the palace lack for amusements? Give up this notion of keeping a court lady candidate. I forbid it." Isabella Carter frowned sadly, "Mother, I beg you." Alice Rose, escort the princess back to her quarters. Sophia Lambert dismissed her. "If my brother, the crown prince, doesn't favor her, perhaps you could arrange a marriage with another noble?" "Preposterous. Marriage isn't so simple. It affects the royal family and the kingdom. A princess cannot decide such matters." "Alice Rose, take her away." "Yes, your Majesty." Alice Rose didn't dare disobey. "Princess, please return to your quarters." "Mother, you have no affection for me." "Humph." Isabella Carter stormed off, indignant. "I'll accept the sachet, but the favor is denied." Sophia Lambert stated firmly. "Your Majesty, please calm yourself. The princess is merely childish." Anna Lane soothed her. "Such a child. Her older sisters are far more sensible. Marriage. I ought to arrange a marriage for her." Sophia Lambert sighed and shook her head. Anna Lane offered a cup of fragrant tea, calming the queen. "It's strange. You all mentioned this court lady candidate, remarking on her plain appearance. Could it be the same woman?" "I don't know." Anna Lane said. Enough, I want to rest for a bit. All that commotion from Dinny has tired me out." Anna Lane escorted the Empress to her chambers. "Anna Lane, send 2 of the newly arrived antiques to the second princess as a peace offering." "Yes, your Majesty." Anna Lane said, "As expected, you care for the sixth princess the most. A mother's heart is connected to her child's. If she's unhappy, I'll be saddened too." Sophia Lambert said, "Of my 3 children, the Crown Prince worries me the most. The Crown Prince having his own opinions is a good thing. Your Majesty only needs to guide him appropriately." Anna Lane, "Sometimes I think, if only you were my daughter. So understanding and thoughtful. Your servant wouldn't dare. You, always so formal with your servant this and your servant that. I truly cherish you. By the way, what happened to your face a few days ago? Thank you for your concern, your Majesty. It's all right now." Anna Lane replied. "Good to hear. A woman's appearance is her most important asset. Everyone loves beauty, and you are quite lovely. I'll certainly find you a good match someday. This servant wishes to serve by your Majesty's side for life. Silly girl, which young woman doesn't marry? When the time comes, I'll prepare a handsome dowry for you. Anna Lane remained silent, perhaps uncertain, perhaps grateful for the Empress's kindness. Refined Elegance Hall Margaret Chen, along with Mistress of Ceremonies Jessica Adams and Helen Chase, addressed all the candidate ladies. Margaret Chen spoke first. Listen carefully, candidates. I do not want Victoria Evans's affairs to be gossiped about within the palace. She has been dismissed and is no longer your concern. As for Sophia Evans, I find her intelligent and virtuous. Her act of reporting her elder sister is commendable and sets an example for you all. Hearing this, Sophia Evans rejoiced inwardly. Helen Wright, standing beside them, felt a surge of injustice. In her eyes, Sophia Evans was nothing more than someone who betrayed her sister for personal gain. Mistress of Ceremonies Jessica Adams said, "Your training sessions have now concluded. In 3 days, you will face the final test. Only those who pass will be presented to the Crown Prince. Therefore, use these 3 days to refine your skills in the 4 arts." Yes, we respectfully obey your instructions. The candidate ladies responded. Helen Chase continued, whether you become the Crown Princess or a concubine, do not become complacent. As consorts within the palace, you must not only adhere to palace rules but also uphold the virtues of a wife and a concubine. The Crown Princess, especially, must assist the Empress in managing the inner court and support the Crown Prince diligently, so that he may one day become a wise ruler. The candidate ladies listened attentively. Helen Chase added, "You must have heard that His Majesty has many descendants. Several princes are married, yet none have produced heirs. Even the princesses have no children. Therefore, the Crown Princess's primary responsibility is to bear children and continue the royal lineage, but she must not allow the Crown Prince to neglect his courtly duties for personal affections. Continuing the lineage, extending the ancestral line." Evelyn's heart ached, realizing she was chosen as Crown Princess solely for procreation, that a woman's place was eternally thus, forever a man's possession. Evelyn paid no mind to the Mistress of Ceremonies' further words, only wishing to swiftly depart this place, carrying memories of the Crown Prince as she left the palace. Perhaps she could deliberately fail the 3-day trial, ensuring a smooth exit. After the Mistress of Ceremonies' instruction, the candidate maidens returned to prepare for the 3-day trial, each curious about its nature. Some bolder maidens inquired, only to be told that all would be revealed in due time. Grand Library Courtyard. Returning from court, Alexander Carter went to the Grand Library Courtyard to read, drawn to the boundless wisdom and knowledge contained within books. Brittany Winston, the Crown Prince's close attendant, followed him everywhere. Though rarely speaking to him, her loyalty was absolute. Seeing the Mistress of Ceremonies arrive, she hurried to the library. "Your Highness, I beg to report." Brittany Winston knew the Crown Prince disliked interruptions while reading, but the Mistress of Ceremonies' request demanded attention. "What is it, Brittany Winston?" Alexander Carter set down his book and inquired. Relieved that the Crown Prince wasn't angry, Brittany Winston reported, "The 3 Mistresses of Ceremonies seek an audience, regarding the candidate maidens." Calculating inwardly, Alexander Carter replied, "Very well, the time has come. Admit them." "Yes, Your Highness." Brittany Winston withdrew. Chapter 35, The Trial. 2. The 3 Mistresses of Ceremonies entered, bowing before the Crown Prince. "We apologize for interrupting Your Highness's studies," Margaret Chen said. "Spare the apologies, state your business." Alexander Carter was not one for formalities. Mistress of Ceremonies Jessica Adams spoke, "Your Highness, the maiden's instruction is complete. The 3-day trial commences soon, we await your directives." "A trial? Very well, what guidance do you require?" Alexander Carter asked languidly, intrigued. Your Highness, the trial traditionally assesses the maiden's skills in the arts, music, painting, calligraphy, and so forth. We request you set the tasks and determine the rewards and penalties. Mistress of Ceremonies Jessica Adams explained. Oh. This sounds intriguing. Alexander Carter inquired, any penalty is permissible. This, Mistress of Ceremonies Jessica Adams hesitated. Helen Chase interjected, Your Highness, Golden Willow Kingdom's history dictates that the Crown Prince sets the trials, testing the maiden's artistic and practical skills. Those who please him remain, those who do not are dismissed from the palace. Alexander Carter pondered briefly, then declared, Very well, follow my instructions. We await your command, Your Highness. The three mistresses of ceremonies spoke in unison. Each maiden will draw a bamboo slip inscribed with a trial, perhaps music, perhaps an instrument, perhaps dance, the specifics are undetermined. If you are pleased, they remain for my personal assessment. If not, the penalty inscribed on the slip is enacted. I will have Brittany Winston deliver the slips with the trials and penalties. Thank you, Your Highness, Margaret Chin said. We take our leave. Go. With their departure, the Grand Library courtyard fell silent again, Brittany Winston standing guard outside. Alexander Carter paced, contemplating the trials. His gaze fell upon the books, sparking an idea, someone, bring bamboo slips. Brittany Winston obeyed. An hour later, she delivered the slips inscribed by the Crown Prince to the mistresses of ceremonies. Sealed, they remained a mystery to both Brittany Winston and the mistresses, leaving them to wonder what the Crown Prince had devised. At Eternal Blessing Palace, overflowing with honey gifted by the princess, Evelyn, seized by a childish whim, began making candy, inspired by books. Isabella Carter, hearing of this, joined the fun. Sister, you certainly know how to amuse yourself. Isabella Carter observed Evelyn's busy form by the fire. The other maidens prepare for tomorrow's trial, while you play with candy. Mother says I'm always scheming, but that truly applies to you. I'm not destined to be crown princess, so why fret? Evelyn retorted. Better late than never, Isabella Carter said. Come, play music with me. Isabella, come smell this, isn't it fragrant? Evelyn tempted her, the candy will be beautiful and delicious. I even added sweet osmanthus. Isabella Carter, lips pursed, asked, truly? Of course, would I lie to you? Making candy is far more enjoyable than those tedious arts. Isabella Carter wavered, her princessly decorum holding her back. Fine, I won't tell. But you mustn't either, or the mistresses will scold us. Sister, I confided in Mother, asking her to keep you here, even if not as crown princess, simply as my companion. But she refused. Visit me at Morgan House when you can. I'll have Father send you interesting trinkets from outside, all right? Isabella Carter beamed, you understand me best, sister. I'm bored with the palace toys, but I can't simply leave. Chatting and laughing, they continued their candy-making revelry. In the Thousand Blossom Garden, the grandest imperial garden, all the female candidates sat in their designated places. The sky was blue, birds sang, fragrant flowers perfumed the air, and a gentle breeze wafted through. It should have been perfect weather for an outing, yet their hearts were filled with anxiety. Emma Price, sitting beside Evelyn, whispered, Sister, my heart is pounding. Don't be afraid, just face it calmly. Perhaps among these candidates, only Evelyn Morgan possessed the unwavering resolve of no retreat. Within the imperial garden, preparations for the 4 arts, music, chess, calligraphy, and painting, were complete, along with other necessary items. As per the Crown Prince's instructions, even weapons like swords and spears were laid out. Seeing these weapons, Emma Price was astonished. Sister, why would weapons be used in a test? Could it be that failure means beheading? Evelyn smiled, saying, Don't let your imagination run wild. In broad daylight, there's no such thing as beheading. Sister is right. Emma Price felt reassured, then sniffed the air. Why do I smell sweet osmanthus in this setting? Evelyn sniffed herself. Have you forgotten the sugar candy we ate yesterday? It contained premium sweet osmanthus. Emma Price laughed. No wonder I smell sweet osmanthus, it's from your clothes, sister. You're making fun of me again. So, are you less nervous now? Evelyn asked. Thank you for your comfort, sister, I'm not nervous anymore. Lady Emma said. A court lady struck a bronze gong nearby, 3 resounding bongs echoing, and silence immediately returned. Margaret Chen, mistress of ceremonies Jessica Adams, and Helen Chase were all dressed in new official attire, demonstrating the importance placed upon the female candidates. Margaret Chen spoke first. Today's test is entirely according to the Crown Prince's will, with the 3 of us as the final judges. Those who satisfy will remain to participate in the Crown Princess investiture ceremony, while those who do not will face the corresponding punishment. The test questions and corresponding details are written on these bamboo slips. Each person will draw one. Mistress of Ceremonies Jessica Adams will read the numbers, and you will proceed in turn. Helen Chase added, everything necessary has been prepared here, so don't worry. Just stay calm and do your best. Mistress of Ceremonies Jessica Adams began to call the numbers. Number 5, Sophia Reed. Sophia Reed stood up and walked to Helen Chase to draw a bamboo slip. Nervously, she opened it and saw written on the front, compose a poem on the spot, with winter as the theme. On the back, it stated, if satisfactory, stay, if not, there are 2 choices, 1, withdraw, 2, endure 20 strokes of the cane. When Helen Chase finished reading the contents of the bamboo slip, whispers and murmurs arose from below. Some were secretly relieved they hadn't drawn that slip, some worried for themselves, some prayed silently, and some whispered to each other. Order! Margaret Chen shouted. Miss Stern, please respond to the prompt. Overwhelmed by nervousness, Sophia Reed stammered for a long time, unable to speak a complete sentence, managing only 2 lines before choking up. Sophia Reed, do you wish to withdraw or endure 20 strokes? The choice is yours. Evelyn felt a bit annoyed. This crown prince really knew how to make things difficult. They were all delicate women, how could they endure 20 strokes? If she were Miss Stern, she would definitely choose to withdraw. As expected, Sophia Reed reluctantly chose to withdraw. Watching her sit down with tears in her eyes, the other candidates hardly dared to breathe, fearing they would be next. Number 10, Emily Frost, please come and draw a slip. Emily Frost, with her beautiful appearance, also had good fortune. She drew a slip requiring her to play a pipa tune. She responded naturally, and the 3 female officials were very satisfied, allowing her to stay. She herself appeared quite pleased. Next, the candidates took turns drawing slips and responding to the prompts. Some drew drumming a piece, some dancing, some calligraphy. As long as the 3 female officials were satisfied, they were allowed to stay. As for those who were penalized, besides the option of withdrawing, the remaining punishments were truly varied. Some had to imitate a dog's bark, some had to crawl like a turtle, and of course, some endured 10 or 20 strokes of the cane. There was even an option to jump from a height into water. Hearing these varying punishments, Evelyn clearly sensed the Crown Prince was deliberately teasing the candidates, treating them like monkeys for his amusement. She looked around, suspecting he might be watching them from somewhere. Number 80, Emma Price. Mistress of Ceremonies Jessica Adams called. It's your turn, Emma, don't be afraid. Evelyn whispered a reminder. Emma Price walked tremblingly to Helen Chase, hesitantly choosing a bamboo slip, but not immediately looking at its contents. Miss Price, why are you hesitating? Helen Chase said, the other candidates have all taken their turns, now it's yours. Emma Price prayed silently as she opened the bamboo slip and carefully examined it. The front read, Sword Dance. The back stated, if satisfactory, stay, if not, there are two choices: 1. Withdraw, 2. Endure 25 strokes of the cane. Emma Price froze in place. All her efforts, and this was the result. No, she wasn't resigned to this. Why was it like this? What about her mother's illness? What would she tell her family? Seeing her stunned silence, Helen Chase took the bamboo slip and read its contents aloud. Evelyn worried for Emma. This slip was likely the worst of them all. Madam Official, I don't know how to sword dance. Emma Price was near tears. Helen Chase said, you don't know anything at all. Even a few moves would do. Just try. In truth, from the expressions of the three female officials, it was clear they sympathized with Emma Price drawing this slip, but sympathy was useless. This was fate. Emma Price, her slender body swaying, walked towards the swords, seemingly using all her strength. She reached out a trembling hand to take a sword, which must have been heavy, as she couldn't lift it immediately. Seeing her like this, Evelyn, who had been by her side for so long, finally couldn't bear it any longer and stood up. Madam Official, I have something to say. Miss Morgan, it's not your turn yet, please wait patiently. Margaret Chen said. I want to take on the challenge with Miss Price. Evelyn stated her intention clearly. Take on the challenge together. Helen Chase was taken aback. There's no such rule. As long as I can face the challenge with Miss Price, I will bear any punishment alone. It has nothing to do with Lady Price. The three female officials stepped aside to confer. Emma Price looked at Evelyn and said, Sister, you can't, that will harm you. Although I'm not resigned to this, it's my fate, it has nothing to do with anyone else. Emma, I know why you entered the palace, and I will definitely help you. Evelyn was determined. Sister, why would you suffer like this? Emma was deeply moved. At this moment, Alexander Carter happened to pass by the Imperial Garden and couldn't help but ask Brittany Winston behind him, what are so many people doing over there? Brittany Winston craned her neck to look and replied, Your Highness, the female candidates are undergoing their tests. Oh, I almost forgot. Alexander Carter said, let's go upstairs and watch. A higher vantage point offers a better view. Yes, Your Highness. Brittany Winston led the Crown Prince upstairs. Chapter 36, The Trial, 3, Upstairs, a serene pavilion, furnished with stone table and chairs, shaded by lush greenery, offered a perfect vantage point. Unseen from below, it commanded a clear view of the two prospective concubines standing beneath, their conversation unheard. Observing their faces, Alexander Carter inquired, What do you think of them? I dare not say. Brittany Winston responded, head bowed. Speak your mind when asked. Glancing downwards, Brittany Winston remarked, one possesses the beauty of a pear blossom kissed by rain, while the other appears quite ordinary. Alexander Carter remained silent, watching the unfolding scene below. After deliberation, the three court ladies granted Evelyn's request. Proceeding to Helen Chase, Evelyn drew a lot, revealing the challenge, a musical piece accompanied by a sword dance. Turning to Emma, she proposed, Emma, you play the zither, and I'll wield the sword. Together, we'll create a breathtaking spectacle. Sister, you jest. This sword, I've tried it, is incredibly heavy. Let's not. Thank you for your kindness these past days, but I must withdraw. Nonsense, we won't know the outcome without trying. Evelyn guided her towards the zither. Play a beautiful melody, and I'll dance to its rhythm. Are you certain, sister? Emma Price questioned, looking at Evelyn. Evelyn nodded. Very well, let's perform together, lest our encounter be in vain. That's the spirit. Begin the music. Evelyn declared confidently. Emma Price reluctantly sat, her fingers gracing the strings, evoking the ethereal strains of Summer Burns. With a graceful twirl, Evelyn Morgan grasped the sword hilt, lifting it gently. The blade, like a needle embroidering flowers, moved with delicate precision, weaving exquisite blossoms of steel in her hands. As the music flowed, she began to dance, the sword tracing elegant arcs in the air. Her movements mirrored the melody, body and blade in perfect harmony, a sight of indescribable beauty. The prospective concubines and court ladies watched, mesmerized. They had never witnessed such skill from Evelyn Morgan, a hidden talent truly revealed. Equally captivated was Alexander Carter, observing from above. He hadn't anticipated that one of his carefully crafted challenges would be so masterfully conquered by a candidate of such unassuming appearance. Though lacking in striking beauty, her dance and swordsmanship, combined with her sparkling eyes, were a feast for the senses. Her swordplay, neither purely dance nor martial art, flowed seamlessly, like clouds drifting freely across the sky. Were it not for Brittany Winston's presence, he would have applauded with enthusiasm. A wondrous sight unfolded. Colorful butterflies began to gather around Evelyn Morgan, joining her dance. This magnificent spectacle of human and butterfly in harmonious motion captivated all who beheld it. As Emma Price's music concluded, Evelyn finished her performance with a flourish, the butterflies still swirling around her, reluctant to depart. "This is uncanny. You must have used some form of sorcery," Helen Wright exclaimed, unable to contain her astonishment. Indeed, why would butterflies flock to her like this? Tang Yinxiang, a candidate who had already passed her trial, murmured. "Sister, you are truly divine, even the butterflies dance for you," Emma Price added in awe. "I carry a sachet filled with sweet osmanthus blossoms, which naturally attracts butterflies." "It's nothing unusual," Evelyn explained loudly, concealing the fragrance emanating from her own person. "That explains it," Margaret Chen addressed Evelyn. "I was startled, thinking you had truly employed some magical art." "I possess no such skills," Evelyn replied, gently waving away the butterflies, silently composing herself. "Your ladyship, have I passed?" Emma Price asked, her eyes filled with anticipation. After a brief discussion, Helen Chase announced, "Candidate Emma Price, your musical skill is exceptional. You may stay." "Thank you, your ladyship." "Thank you, sister." Emma Price expressed her gratitude with joy. "As for you, Evelyn Morgan, though you aided Emma Price's selection and your sword dance was captivating, you violated the rules. Punishment is necessary to maintain order," Helen Chase continued. "I accept any punishment," Evelyn responded, bowing her head. "Your card dictates two options, withdrawal or recitation of the palace rules. Choose one," Helen Chase instructed. Everyone expected Evelyn Morgan to choose the recitation, a lenient penalty. However, Evelyn declared, "I choose to withdraw." "Sister, you are being foolish," Emma Price exclaimed. "Reciting the rules would be easy for you. Why not choose that?" Evelyn offered a faint smile, remaining silent. Margaret Chen, too, was surprised. "Evelyn Morgan, you flawlessly recited the palace rules when punished at Refined Elegance Hall. Why choose withdrawal today? You realize this forfeits a month of effort. I know my appearance is not comparable to others. I willingly withdraw. My decision is final." Margaret Chen sighed, resigned. "Very well, number 88, Evelyn Morgan, you are dismissed." "Thank you, your ladyship," Evelyn said sincerely. Everyone, including Emma Price, was puzzled by Evelyn's decision. Could it truly be due to a lack of confidence in her appearance? Once all trials were concluded, Margaret Chen addressed the remaining candidates. "Congratulations to those who have been selected. On an auspicious day, you will participate in the ceremony to be formally invested as the Crown Prince's concubines. Until then, your accommodations will be changed. Those dismissed may remain in their current quarters. The palace will inform your families, and they will escort you home tomorrow afternoon." "Yes, your ladyship," the candidates responded. "You are dismissed. Palace maids will attend to your quarters shortly. Remain within your assigned rooms," Mistress of Ceremonies Jessica Adams instructed. Soon, the Imperial Garden was deserted, save for Alexander Carter and Brittany Winston on the pavilion. Brittany Winston, did you hear the name of that candidate who just left? Alexander Carter asked, a knowing glint in his eyes. It was too far to hear clearly, Brittany Winston replied. I will inquire immediately. Alexander Carter nodded. Yes, go. At Eternal Blessing Palace, Emma Price held Evelyn's hand. Thank you, sister, for your help today. I am eternally grateful. Your happiness is all that matters, Evelyn replied. You are one step closer to your dream. With heaven's blessing, you shall become the Crown Prince's concubine. But sister, why didn't you stay? Emma inquired. It's such a pity. Your dance was so beautiful, it even captivated me, almost making me forget my zither. A cornered person will do anything. Don't mind me. I told you, I have no desire to be a concubine. Now, all is as I wished. Miss, you're back. How did it go? How did it go? Diana Spring asked eagerly. Evelyn embraced her. Diana Spring, it's wonderful. We can return home tomorrow. Truly. That's fantastic. Just as we hoped. Diana Spring rejoiced on her mistress's behalf. Hearing this, Clara Moon rushed out. Miss, are we really going home? Is there any doubt? Evelyn replied cheerfully. The three embraced, laughing with joy. Emma Price, learning of Evelyn's outcome and witnessing their elation, was perplexed. Why are you so happy to be dismissed? Emma Price, my sister's heart lies outside the palace walls, Diana Spring explained. Oh, Emma Price nodded, feigning understanding. Shortly after, 2 palace maids arrived to gather Emma Price's belongings and escort her to her new quarters. Sister, parting today, who knows when we shall meet again? Emma Price said sadly. We shall meet again. As the mountains and rivers converge, so shall our paths. We will meet again someday, Evelyn embraced her. Go now, be brave. Think of your mother, and your fears and hesitations will vanish. Yes, sister. Emma Price said, tears welling in her eyes. Evelyn wiped her tears with a handkerchief. Silly girl, don't cry, you should smile, parting is for reunion. Take care, sister, I'm leaving. Evelyn said to her, you too, take care, go on, I'll see you off. All right. Emma Price said. Sister, were you eliminated? 6th Princess Isabella Carter ran over excitedly. Princess, why are you here? Evelyn asked. 2 palace maids hurriedly saluted, 6th Princess Emma Price. Lady Emma only then realized that the princess had arrived, and after saluting, she led Emma Price and the 2 palace maids away from Eternal Blessing Palace. Sister, why were you eliminated? Isabella Carter said regretfully, what a pity, you are so good, yet you were eliminated. I volunteered. Then I won't be able to see you anymore, Hayes, it's so difficult to leave the palace. Isabella Carter's face was gloomy. You will grow up sooner or later, and you will have your own life sooner or later, as long as your sister is in your heart. Evelyn said, tomorrow I will return to the manor, you must be obedient and stay in the palace. Who else is in your manor? Besides my parents, there are also 3 elder brothers, the eldest and second brothers are already married, there are many people in the family. Sister is truly blessed. Isabella Carter said. So are you, a noble princess, with endless glory and wealth, and a bright future. Evelyn said. Future. Isabella's eyes became distant. Isn't a woman's future to obey her father at home and her husband after marriage? I only hope to find a soulmate to grow old with, finding a good husband is the best future. You are a princess, you can do it. Oh my. Isabella Carter heard Evelyn sigh and asked, Sister, why are you sighing? Don't you want to find someone to grow old with? It's not that I don't want to, but I can't, Hayes, you won't understand, forget it. Seeing her sister's sad face, Isabella Carter said, "Sister, just stay, I will go and beg my mother to grant you marriage. If the crown prince doesn't want you, naturally someone else will. I appreciate your kindness, but it's useless." Evelyn said, "Princess, you don't need to see me off tomorrow, it will only add to the sadness." "Yeah, I'm afraid I'll cry very badly." "You must smile, smiling is beautiful." Diana Spring Clara Moon suppressed the joy of being able to return to the manor, watching her young mistress and the sixth princess bid farewell. The scene was truly touching. Night fell, the sky was full of stars. Thinking about being able to return to the manor tomorrow, Evelyn was so happy that she couldn't sleep. After removing her makeup, she sat alone on the high roof, listening to the chirping of insects, the faint scent of flowers, and looking at the crescent moon in the sky. Chapter 37, The Turning of the Wind's Path to Avoid Trouble. Evelyn sat still, moon-gazing, recalling recent events. Joy, sorrow, fear, and subtle heart-stirrings mingled within her. She couldn't deny her anger at the crown prince's domineering actions, yet a strange aftertaste lingered. He'd stolen her first kiss, she couldn't be entirely indifferent. "Found you at last." Strong arms encircled Evelyn's waist. "Ah! Let me go." Evelyn struggled, both embarrassed and angry. "If you don't, I'll call for help." "Go ahead, you'll be the one to regret it." Alexander Carter bent down. "Every night I keep watch on the rooftops. Didn't expect to catch such a large rabbit tonight." "You're the rabbit." Evelyn turned in his grasp, meeting the prince's impossibly handsome face, his expression a mixture of amusement and something else. "Tell me, who are you?" Alexander Carter gripped her arm, his voice brooking no argument. They stood on the Eternal Blessing Palace roof. "And who are you?" Evelyn countered, defiant. Anger warred with the impossibility of revealing her true identity. She'd been fuming over his earlier audacity, and now here he was again. Alexander Carter gazed at Evelyn's exquisite face, his hand rising involuntarily to caress her hair. "You're beautiful. Don't be impertinent." Evelyn brushed his hand away. Truly, a lecher. The Golden Willow Kingdom's crown prince was indeed frivolous and licentious. Not even pleased with a compliment. Alexander Carter smiled. "If you don't tell me who you are, you won't be leaving this roof tonight." "Fine, then let's moon gaze." Evelyn shifted her tactics. "I came up here to admire the moon." "Which palace do you belong to? Were you at Scarlet Flame Lake the other day?" Evelyn feigned ignorance. "I don't know what you're talking about. I simply find the view of the moon from the palace roof enchanting." "So, which palace are you from?" "Humph, bold, aren't we? Speaking so freely without even knowing who I am." Alexander Carter studied her eyes, a flicker of familiarity in their depths. "If you hadn't been disrespectful first, I wouldn't be responding in kind." Evelyn didn't cower before the crown prince's reputation. He was just a man, with two eyes and a nose like any other. "Perhaps it's better you don't know who I am. I wouldn't want to frighten you." Alexander Carter deliberately kept her guessing. If she knew his identity, her bravado would likely vanish. He sensed her deep loyalty and affection for those she cared about. Evelyn plotted her escape. Alexander Carter saw through her. "Don't even think about running. It won't be that easy." "Oh really?" Looking at her jade-like face, Alexander Carter had a bad feeling. Evelyn suddenly crouched down. "Oh, my stomach hurts." Still holding her arm, Alexander Carter crouched too, chuckling. "I've seen this trick before." His younger sister had used it a few times. Evelyn said nothing, then suddenly swayed towards him. Instinctively, Alexander Carter reached out to steady her. Evelyn seized the opportunity, striking a pressure point, then rolled away, tumbling across the roof, dropping onto the eaves. Suspended in mid-air, she kicked off, twisting her body, landing gracefully on the ground below. Then, she leaped back onto the roof, right in front of Alexander Carter, and, crossing several rooftops, vanished into the night. Gabriel Stone emerged from the shadows, releasing the pressure point. "Master, shall we pursue?" "No. She may never come again." This encounter was a rare gift. Alexander Carter gazed in the direction she'd disappeared. In truth, he'd let her go. He'd met countless beauties, but only she had truly captivated him. Let her remain a dream. The following afternoon, the moment Evelyn awaited finally arrived. She, along with Diana Spring and Clara Moon, guided by palace attendants, departed through the Lie-Din Gate. Taking one last look at the red walls and green tiles of the imperial palace, Evelyn sighed, realizing that from this point forward, she and the palace would have no further connection. The past was like smoke and clouds, last night's events could be considered a mere dream. Upon waking, she was once again Evelyn Morgan, the young mistress of the Morgan estate. "Mistress, having lived here for so long, I truly feel reluctant to leave," Diana Spring said, gazing at the palace. "Indeed, I feel the same," Clara Moon added. "What comes will come, and what goes will surely go. Let's go, the estate. Carriage should have arrived by now." Evelyn spoke resolutely, without turning back. Just as they were about to exit the Lie-Din Gate, Margaret Chen's voice rang out from behind, "Mistress Morgan, please wait." Evelyn startled, wondering if something else had occurred. "Lady official, is there something else?" "Mistress Morgan, last night we received urgent news from outside the palace. The mother of candidate Emma Price has passed away. According to the Golden Willow Kingdom's consort selection regulations, if a candidate experiences a bereavement during the selection process, it is considered unlucky, and they are ineligible to participate in the selection for 3 years. Emma Price has personally requested that you remain and take her place in the upcoming investiture ceremony. This is also the decision of the 3 of us, the lady officials." "But, Evelyn hesitated. Diana Spring and Clara Moon looked at their mistress, unsure whether to laugh or cry. "Mistress Morgan, please return to the Eternal Blessing Palace. These are the rules, they cannot be disobeyed," Margaret Chen stated. Evelyn looked back at the Lie-Din Gate, though only a step away, it felt incredibly distant. Those who had arrived with her had already been taken away. A profound sense of helplessness welled up within her. Was this truly her fate? The 3 returned to the Eternal Blessing Palace. Seeing her mistress's unhappiness, Diana Spring offered comfort, "Mistress, don't worry. Even if you are kept here, you'll be placed last. The Crown Prince certainly won't choose you as his consort." "Clara Moon, am I right?" "Indeed, mistress." "It's not time to despair yet," Clara Moon added. You two needn't console me. I'm not upset about being kept here, but rather because of Emma's mother's passing. She entered the palace hoping to cure her mother's illness, she must be heartbroken now. Alas, it's a shame we can't see her off." As they spoke, an unfamiliar palace attendant entered and handed Evelyn a letter, saying that Mistress Emma Price had specifically instructed its delivery to Mistress Evelyn Morgan. Evelyn thanked the attendant and opened the letter. "Dearest Sister Evelyn, thank you for your care and concern these past few days. Sadly, my mother has suddenly passed away, and I must tearfully depart the palace. The palace holds no further meaning for me. Rest assured, sister, I will compose myself, observe a period of mourning for my mother for 3 years, and dedicate myself to prayer and vegetarianism. Please take care, sister, and cherish these precious times. May you find your soulmate and live a long and happy life together. I will forever be grateful for your kindness, and before the Buddha, I will light incense and pray for your peace and longevity. Your weeping sister, Emma." Evelyn gazed at the tear stains on the letter, speechless with a heavy heart. "Mistress, if you want to cry, just cry. It will make you feel better," Diana Spring said. "Diana Spring, Clara Moon, I'm tired. I want to rest for a while and think carefully about what path I should take next. Yes, mistress. We will keep watch outside the door. Call us if you need anything. Go on, then. The two sisters withdrew, leaving their mistress to her thoughts. Evelyn's heart remained uneasy, as if suspended in mid-air. Perhaps only after the Crown Prince's consort selection concluded would she finally be able to sleep soundly. Early that morn, after the court officials presented urgent matters, Emperor Michael Carter inquired, "My queen, has the Crown Prince's consort selection yielded any results?" Queen Lambert replied, "Your Majesty, the selection process is complete, and the candidates have been chosen. We await an auspicious date for the Crown Prince to formally elevate his chosen consort." Michael Carter glanced at the venerable royal advisor. "Advisor, have you determined a propitious date?" Alexander Carter, also present in court, glared at the old advisor. "Advisor, your calculations must be precise." The royal advisor rose, counted on his fingers, and declared, "Your Majesty, the 15th day of this month, the full moon, is an auspicious day for the Crown Prince's selection." "Excellent. As the royal advisor advises, the 15th it is." "Yes, Your Majesty," Sophia Lambert affirmed, discreetly observing the Crown Prince's reaction. He appeared displeased but refrained from any outburst, to her relief. The Emperor's decree brought the greatest joy to Samuel Evans, whose daughter was the most likely candidate, fueling his pride. Conversely, Henry Morgan worried, unsure when his precious daughter would return home. Upon Queen Lambert's return to Phoenix Serenity Palace from court, Alexander Carter followed. "Cheer, the 15th is but 3 days away. Do you have any thoughts?" "Mother, I've observed the candidates from the upper floor, and none have captured my interest," Alexander Carter stated frankly. "Mere observation cannot ignite affection. Feelings develop over time. Choose one who pleases your eye, I shall handle the rest." "Agreed?" The arrow was nocked and ready to fly. But the royal advisor, Alexander Carter, feigned hesitation. "The royal advisor has his reasons, but I shall honor your choice," Sophia Lambert assured. Alexander Carter, having secured his mother's agreement, declared, "Thank you, mother. I shall choose carefully, a consort who satisfies all." "Remember your promise, mother." "I shall take my leave." Before the Queen could respond, Alexander Carter strode from Phoenix Serenity Palace. "Anna Lane, what did the Crown Prince imply?" "Your Majesty, you promised to respect his choice, and he vowed to choose a suitable consort," Anna Lane replied. "That cheer, digging a pit for me to fall into. He means if none please him, he'd rather leave the position vacant, and I, as his mother, must respect his decision." Sophia Lambert fumed. "Indeed, Your Majesty." News of the Crown Prince's consort selection on the 15th spread throughout the kingdom, reaching Evelyn's ears. Coincidentally, the full moon was her sleepless night. 3 days swiftly passed, and the palace buzzed with activity, adorned with lanterns and flowers. Even the palace servants wore joyful expressions. The candidates could barely contain their excitement, rising early to adorn themselves meticulously. Such a momentous occasion demanded their utmost efforts. 1,000 graceful postures, 10,000 charming expressions. Each with brows like distant mountains and faces like blossoming peach flowers, they painted the palace with vibrant hues. Yet, in Eternal Blessing Palace, Evelyn remained unchanged, clad in white, with light makeup and simple hairpins, devoid of the anticipation surrounding the selection. Diana Spring, Clara Moon, as per protocol, remain here. I shall return shortly. Miss, be cautious, Diana Spring advised. Indeed, at this juncture, I can only surrender to fate, Evelyn said with a wry smile. The two sisters watched as she walked down the long corridor, seemingly towards an unknown destiny. Chapter 38, The Selection of a Consort at the Sacrificial Altar. The consort selection ceremony for the new crown prince of the Golden Willow Kingdom was about to commence. Radiant sunlight bathed the altar, banners fluttered in the breeze, and a delicate fragrance permeated the air. The king and queen sat on either side of the crown prince, Alexander Carter, the central figure of this day's proceedings. Concubines, princes, princesses, all present to witness the spectacle, flanked the royal family. Officials lined the sides, and countless court ladies and guards stood in attendance. After a period of bustling activity, the royal preceptor, presiding over the ceremony, consulted the auspicious hour and proclaimed, "The auspicious time for the selection of the crown prince's consort has arrived. Eligible ladies, please step forward." In an instant, hundreds of eligible ladies emerged, each possessing a unique beauty. They formed lines in an orderly fashion, each with a name tag attached to their hip. Michael Carter smiled at his son. "Go, Crown Prince, and choose a consort of both virtue and talent for the Golden Willow Kingdom." "Crown Prince, choose wisely," Sophia Lambert reminded her son. "I obey," Alexander Carter replied. Today, he wore violet robes and a newly crafted crown. Coupled with his unparalleled handsomeness, he was sure to captivate the hearts of many aspiring consorts. Alexander Carter approached the first candidate. "What is your name?" he inquired. "Your Highness, my name is Jenny Taylor," she responded demurely. Alexander Carter frowned. "Unsuitable. Withdraw." Reaching the second candidate, the Crown Prince observed her physique and bluntly stated, "Too frail. I disapprove. Withdraw." The third candidate, though graceful, was met with the question, "Do you possess any martial skills?" The candidate bowed her head. "Your Highness, I do not know martial arts." "Of what use are you without martial skills? Withdraw." The Crown Prince continued to dismiss candidate after candidate with various justifications, causing the Queen's expression to darken considerably. He was clearly being deliberately difficult. Alexander Carter showed no intention of altering his strategy, continuing to act according to his own will. Dozens of candidates had been dismissed. Nearly everyone present sensed something amiss, and murmurs began to circulate among the officials. It was common knowledge that the candidates positioned at the front were the most exceptional, so what was the Crown Prince's intention? Ahem, ahem. The Queen coughed pointedly, hoping to subtly caution the Crown Prince. Alexander Carter heard but paid no mind. He had already decided on this course of action. Since no suitable woman presented herself, he would choose the most ordinary. His heart remained his own, unclaimed by any woman. No, rather, his heart could hold no one but the woman he had encountered on the rooftop. The selection continued. The Crown Prince's questions were merely superficial preferences, all similar in nature. He used every conceivable excuse to reject them. Their voice was unpleasant, they lacked knowledge of astronomy and geography, their face was too wide, their waist too narrow, their hands too coarse. "Crown Prince, choose carefully," the king finally interjected, unable to contain himself any longer. "Father, I am choosing with great care, but unfortunately, none are satisfactory, so naturally, I must dismiss them." Alexander Carter remained resolute. Prince James, present amongst the throng, observed the Crown Prince's indecisive selection process, his heart consumed by envy. Were he the Crown Prince, these women would grace his harem, indulging in the pleasures of the 3 palaces and 6 courts, a far superior fate. His own principal consort had yet to bear him a son, were it not for her beauty and cunning, he would have long since divorced her. As a father, the emperor couldn't comment before his court, leaving the Crown Prince to his choice. Empress Sophia Lambert seethed inwardly. Finally, as the sun neared its zenith, the selection of prospective brides neared its end. "He's here." Evelyn Morgan felt a surge of tension, not from anticipation of becoming Crown Princess, but from the dwindling pool of unchosen candidates. As the last in line, she silently prayed the Crown Prince would find a suitable match, anyone but her. Alas, Evelyn's hopes were dashed. The Crown Prince stood before her. "Your name?" Alexander Carter posed his customary question. Evelyn bowed her head. Your Highness, I am Evelyn Morgan. Evelyn Morgan. Alexander Carter paused, the name resonating within him. Could this be the Sister Evelyn Isabella spoke of? Brittany Winston had confirmed the sword dancer's identity as Evelyn Morgan. Are you the daughter of Henry Morgan? Yes. Look at me, Alexander Carter commanded. Evelyn hesitated, then raised her gaze. Her clear eyes met his sharp ones. Bathed in sunlight, his handsome features radiated regal authority. With her current unremarkable appearance, he surely wouldn't recognize her. Alexander Carter assessed her. Plain of face, yet her eyes held an unusual brilliance and spirit. You do not fear me. Why should I? Evelyn countered. If she could, she would have declared, you were defeated by my hand. Are you skilled in women's arts? Yes. Do you know martial arts? Alexander Carter continued. Before Evelyn could answer, Alexander Carter proclaimed, enough. I have chosen my crown princess. It is you, Evelyn Morgan. A collective gasp swept across the dais. Astonishment rippled through the crowd. The haughty crown prince had chosen the last candidate as his bride. Unbelievable. Among the officials, Henry Morgan nearly stumbled in surprise. Your Highness, please reconsider. Evelyn implored, shocked. How could this be? The least impressive among hundreds, how had she been chosen? Would the heavens cease their cruel jest? She is right, Your Highness. Reconsideration is warranted, the Empress declared, her expression darkening. Do you not desire the coveted position of Crown Princess? Alexander Carter inquired. No. A sly grin spread across Alexander Carter's face. The more you resist, the more determined I am to choose you. Evelyn gritted her teeth in frustration. Though typically even-tempered, this crown prince could provoke even the most demure woman. Were it not for the inappropriate setting, she would gladly challenge him to a duel. Alexander Carter declared to the Queen, Mother, my mind is made up, and it cannot be changed. The Queen descended from her throne and faced her son. Alexander, she asked, she is the last candidate. Why choose her? May I ask, Mother, is the last candidate not a valid applicant? Of course, she is, the Queen replied weakly. Since she is a valid applicant, which rule states that the Crown Prince cannot choose the last candidate as his consort. There is no such rule. The Queen, feeling defeated, turned to the Imperial Preceptor. Imperial Preceptor, what are your thoughts? The Imperial Preceptor stepped forward. Your Majesty, he said, allow me to examine this candidate. Permission granted, Queen Sophia Lambert assented. The Imperial Preceptor approached Evelyn, scrutinizing her from head to toe, circling her several times. The crystal orb in his hand emitted a strange glow, gradually warming. His nostrils flared, and finally, he bowed before her. I pay my respects to the Crown Princess. The Imperial Preceptor's actions made it clear to everyone, this ordinary-looking candidate was the new Crown Princess. Evelyn felt uncomfortable under the Imperial Preceptor's gaze, as if he could see through everything. His contemplative expression made her heart pound. Could he have seen through her disguise? Impossible. Except for the Crown Prince, the King, and the Queen. Everyone knelt before Evelyn. We pay our respects to the Crown Princess. 10,000 years, 10,000 years, 10,000 years. Henry Morgan also knelt, his heart filled with complex emotions. Faced with this unexpected turn of events, Evelyn Morgan's mind went blank. She parted her lips and finally managed to speak. Rise, all of you. The Imperial Preceptor led her to the Crown Prince's throne. A court lady immediately placed a chair beside it, and Evelyn sat down uneasily. Although the Crown Princess had been chosen, the 4 royal consorts had yet to be selected. The ceremony was only halfway complete. 10 court ladies carrying trays of red lip rouge knelt before the Queen. Each tray held a card bearing the name of a candidate. The selection of the royal consorts was the Queen's prerogative, but the Crown Prince's approval was also required. Looking at the cards, Sophia Lambert asked, "What are your thoughts, Crown Prince?" "As you see fit, Mother," Alexander Carter replied dejectedly. Now that the Crown Princess was chosen, he left the remaining matters to his mother. "Very well, then I shall decide for you." Sophia Lambert rose and paced among the 10 red trays. The candidates below held their breath in anticipation. With the position of Crown Princess gone, becoming a royal consort was still a desirable outcome. After several passes, the Queen selected 4 candidates. Charles Wright took the cards from her, cleared his throat, and announced, "The new royal consorts have been chosen by Her Majesty. They are, number 19, Sophia Evans, number 23, Helen Wright, number 45, Tang Jing-yi, and number 176, Tang Yun-xiang." After the announcement, Charles Wright was secretly pleased, for Helen Wright was his niece, and he felt a surge of pride. Sophia Evans, Helen Wright, Tara Watson, and Duong Van Hong, the chosen ones, became the 4 fortunate consorts. As they performed their obeisances to the King, Queen, and Crown Prince, Alexander Carter's expression remained unchanged. To him, the choice of consorts was inconsequential. In his eyes, they were no different from concubines. "Excellent, the Queen and Crown Princess have been chosen. Expedite the marriage of the Crown Prince and Crown Princess, so they may quickly produce heirs for the Golden Willow Kingdom." "Yes, Your Majesty." Sophia Lambert then addressed the Royal Preceptor. "Royal Preceptor, this matter is entrusted entirely to you. Quickly select an auspicious date for the Crown Prince's wedding." The Royal Preceptor, seemingly anticipating this, immediately replied, "Your Majesties, tomorrow is the most auspicious day. If missed, we must wait another year." "Agreed, let it be as the Royal Preceptor advises." King Michael Carter declared, "The Crown Prince shall wed the Crown Princess tomorrow. Let the entire kingdom celebrate for 3 days." Alexander Carter offered no objection. The timing of the wedding was irrelevant, but he noticed a peculiar expression on the newly appointed Crown Princess's face. "Congratulations, Crown Prince. Joyous tidings, Crown Prince." The court officials knelt, offering their felicitations. Though the Crown Prince's choice of consort might not have been to their liking, the distinction between ruler and subject remained, an immutable truth. Only Henry Morgan understood in his heart that, at this juncture, he was powerless to alter the present circumstances.